Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's Thursday. It's time for Coffee and Cursey Words. Today's like a Coffee and Cursey Words tech edition. It's been a long time since I've gotten to talk mostly tech, but you guys know, well, some of you know, the OGs know that I started on YouTube doing mostly tech reviews, iPhone reviews, that kind of stuff, because I was still employed as a district attorney and tech is something that I love, but I keep kind of my tech nerdiness to a dull roar these days. But today, it's like all the tech worlds have converged with pop culture and law. When does that happen all at once? Today. Today. So we have TikTok being banned. We'll see. But it looks like that might be happening. We have a lot to talk about with TikTok. We have Twitter influencers on a Discord server in the kitchen with the crypto. Yes, it was a reference to Clue getting arrested and indicted, and the SEC is here for all of it. Then we have the SBF, FTX, WTF that we need to talk about. New information coming out of the bankruptcy. Looks like SBF took $1 billion with a B out of FTX before the collapse. Yo. We have a lot to talk about. I'm not even going to pretend we're doing quick bits today because none of this is quick, but all of it is interesting. So we are going to talk about all of the different laws. We're going to talk a little bit about that Tom Brady, the influencer lawsuits, because we are, it's a rare George spotting. Bye, George. Because we have, and we are starting to see the influencers be regulated in these spaces. And that is new. That is wild. And it's something I don't think they were prepared for. So let's roll the intro. Let me know where you're coming in from and what you're drinking. Coffee, Cursey Words, and Middle Tennessee for me. I will be right back. As Emily, are you completely prepared? Sort of. Let's just do the things. Hey there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker, the badass lawyer and everyone's favorite legal commentator. I'm the host of The Emily Show, and I break down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I should warn you, I'm a big fan of the Cursey Words. This channel is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not fuckery. Did I forget to mention we're doing a giveaway again today? I did forget to mention that. You know why? Because there's so much to talk about today that I'm just like, what? But we are doing more giveaways today. It's so good to see where you guys are coming in from. All of the places. We are doing another giveaway today. So we have two amazing Law Nerd boxes, 200K boxes for a giveaway today. Okay, here's the thing. I meant to put the giveaway up on Instagram, like fully, totally intended. And then I got really busy researching stuff and completely forgot. So there will also be an Instagram giveaway. It's just not up yet. But we are doing a 200K giveaway box. I know we're over 674K. You can subscribe. It would be great to get to 675. That would be lovely. But in those lovely boxes, you have things like the custom Law Nerd unicorn tumbler, because it is unicorn colored and I love it the most. And the most popular item in this box, I was shocked, is the squishy gavel. I love the stress gavel. There might be a variation of this coming in the 500K box, but I love this thing. So we are doing all of it today. We've got 2 of these. You can enter once. The rules of entry are down below. International applies. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel so you can be in the chat. And once you're in the chat, then you can enter in the keywords. So we'll do one early on and then we'll do one afterwards or later on in the stream, and it will be great. So with that, what else do we have going on? There on Tuesday, I shared about Kraken the Box's YouTube channel. Kraken the Box hit well over 100K. And then I don't know what happened. I've seen a lot of speculation online. Y'all know that especially when YouTube does things, I want to know what happened first. I do not speculate first. I don't. That's not how I like to do things. Even when I'm angry about them, I want to be like, "Ooh, I'm angry. Let me figure out what is known, what is not known, and go from there. So that went on through the evening into the morning yesterday, and Kraken the Box's channel is back up, so you can go and subscribe. I know that YouTube is working to get Corey his play button ASAP because he's hit 100K and he'll get his silver play button for his channel. So the channel is back up. I know there was a lot of screaming over on YouTube about it. I don't do that. I don't find that to be super helpful and productive. I try to say, okay, what do we know and who do we know that can help? And reach out to those people and be like, can we help fix this? And so it looks like it is fixed. I am so glad that it is fixed. I know that the creator liaison, Renee Ritchie, reached out within the Facebook group. And Renee Ritchie is a tremendous help, and someone that I am blessed to know and have communications with. So I really appreciate the work that Renee Ritchie did to make sure that that was taken care of. So with that, and I appreciate all of you for being law nerds and not speculating. And just, I saw a lot of vitriol on Twitter, and it's, look, when you don't know facts, it's easy to be like, could it be this? Could it be this? Could it be this? But generally it's not presented that way on Twitter because Twitter is not that way. So I'm glad it got resolved, and that's what it is. So I just I just want to make sure that we ask who can help and what do we know first, because I find it to be the that's the first step, right? Even when you're mad, the first step is not to be like, unless you need to do that privately. But when you're trying to solve problems, you have to sort through the, okay, I'm mad, and then work on solving them. But you can't solve them without knowing who to ask. And you can't do that when you're emotional. It's very hard. The brain works in funny ways, but it's very hard to process information and try to make good decisions when you're emotional. So it's always good to take a pause. I talked about this on our members only last night, to take a pause, to take a breath, and to see what you can find out. And I go into research mode, but I'm an attorney. That's my default, but that's always been my default. Maybe that's why I became an attorney. Maybe, maybe. The only time I know I do scream, I definitely vent about things. But I tend to vent about them offline, because venting online, especially when you have a platform, brings everybody into the venting. And I don't like bringing people into the outrage unless we have facts that outrage is needed. Like when you see that someone like the real Laura B is being doxxed on Twitter, and you see it, you're like, I see this happening. Outrage. That's unacceptable. Don't dox people. What the fuck is even wrong with you? Don't dox people. And you see it and you're like, I've seen this happen with my eyeballs, and I've processed it, and that's not okay. So then you've got solid facts, and then some things are just outrageous. But oh, y'all, I hear you. We're not screaming anymore. We have someone to do that for us. Thank you, law nerds. Thank you so much for those, for sending this, and for those that know that this is a inside joke now. Apparently amongst legal commentators, it's just the thing that you must do. So I don't need to scream. Will the goat end up on the soundboard? Maybe. But is it more fun to just kind of do it myself? Kind of. So I'm glad that YouTube fixed it. I think sometimes YouTube does have just checks and balances in a very large corporation that you're like, hey, maybe that didn't end up with the right result. But I've seen them fix it a lot of the times. I have. And so I tend to try to have faith that they will make it right, and that they want to make it right. Because who can believe that YouTube doesn't want to make it right when it comes to Kraken the Box? Who could believe that when a human being in a large corporation finds out what happened, that they're not like, no, that's not what we want to have happen. We want to fix that. Because they do. They absolutely do. Rotten Ralph says, we have outsourced the screaming. Yes, we have. My friend is a professor and was recently doxxed. It's horrible. It is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So the other story going on in the news as we kind of move along into the things we're talking about tonight, that I have been sharing the in-court reporters on Twitter, and I can go back today. There's a couple great reporters that have been in court for the Megan Thee Stallion Tory Lanez trial. Truly, it's unfair to call it the Megan Thee Stallion Tory Lanez trial because it is the state versus Tory Lanez, and Megan Thee Stallion is the victim in that case. That is in trial. There is a lot going on in that case that I truly have not had the time to keep up with. I have been trying to keep up with the wave that I'm on, with the SBF stuff and getting prepared for the end of the year. I have looked at the testimony that's coming in. I think that the DAs have a strong case, and we will see what happens. I know there is a lot of context to this case online, that I have seen some, I have not seen all, and I have not had the chance to dive into all of it to provide any kind of nuanced legal commentary on it, because I'm looking at the reporting that's coming out from court. Megan Thee Stallion has testified. The LA Times did a really great, I think, breakdown of what Megan Thee Stallion's testimony was. The other person that was in the car, I think there were 4 people in the car, but the friend that was in the car testified yesterday and gave some interesting testimony, tried to plead the fifth, but was given immunity from the DA's office. When you're given immunity, you generally can't then take the Fifth Amendment. You can't say, I'm not answering, because you're not going to be prosecuted. So that's very interesting, to see someone that really doesn't want to answer the questions. I think when you see somebody really hesitant to answer questions, the jury's like, what are you hiding and why aren't you answering? And we'll see how that goes. So I've been sharing the reporters that are in court covering it on Twitter, truly because it's hard to cover. It is hard to cover everything. And I just can't keep up with everything, truly, though I'm very interested in what happens with that case. Criminal courts in California, particularly Los Angeles, unless there's somebody in the courtroom, are really difficult to cover. There are no documents anywhere. There are no, other than reporting of what's being said in court, there's not much that you can see. What I'm looking for, testimony wise in this case, I was interested to see what the friend that was in the car had to say. And we saw that testimony a little bit yesterday, and more will come out today. I was interested to see what Megan Thee Stallion had to say. She testified consistently with every other statement I've seen about this case. If there are other statements out there that I have missed, I don't know, but it seemed to me she testified consistently with everything she said about this case. I'm interested to see the forensics and the medical when she went to have her feet treated, what that entails. I think that would be very telling to a jury if, she was shot in or near her feet and there were bullet fragments or full bullets, what will happen? So I'm interested to see the forensic. That will come later. The DAs, it looks like, will do the story kind of it first, the story of what happened, and then do the scientific evidence next, which makes sense. You get the jury in on the story and then you give them the scientific evidence that backs up the story that they've heard. That makes perfect sense to me. So we will see what happens. Again, I will try to point you to the resources that I see coming out. And I talked about this in the Members Only Live, her testimony about how ostracized she's been from her community as a female rapper, how ostracized she's been since this has happened, just rang very, very true to me. Though there are those who are, and Tory Lanez, who is the accused in this case, is saying that she's lying. He wasn't the one who shot her. His fans are saying that. Others are saying that. We will see what happens. Will he testify? I imagine that he probably will, and we will see. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, but I'm also getting ready I have one more stream left before the end of the year, so I will try to share with you the resources and link some of those Twitter accounts in the description below after the stream as well. So with that, we are going to move into today's topics, but I've gotten a lot of questions. It's like, why aren't you covering it? It's like, I mean, I could read Twitter threads for you of other people's Twitter threads, but I don't really know if that's helpful, because there are there are so many covering it well. I believe Natalie Lawyer Chick has been talking about it on Twitter. I don't know if she's done any videos on it yet, but I'm sure that she will. And so that is another creator that I can point you to who I think will be covering it. Finally, finally, um, we are still waiting on a jury in the Weinstein case. Emily, are you now doing quick bits even though you said you weren't? Things happen. Um, we don't have a verdict in the Weinstein case yet. It's been over 8 days. It's very strange. It's very strange. Juries can take a long time, but if juries believed or disbelieved one way or the other, then they would have had a verdict now. So these are jurors that are trying to come to an agreement that cannot come to an agreement. If they could have come to an agreement, it would have happened much faster. There was a lot of evidence in this case. There are numerous alleged victims in this trial, but this has been a long time. Like, this has really been a long time. So I am concerned that there will be a hung jury. That is my concern at this point, that there will be a hung jury. So with that, I will update you what I think if we see a jury. Like, I will update it. So we will just have to see. I didn't know Natalie was taking a YouTube break due to a loss. I hope that she is well. I will direct you guys to her on Twitter where she's been sharing some of that. So maybe that is the best place right now to find her commentary. And that's fair. It takes a different energy to be on camera and interact live than it does to process something and be able to share it via a tweet. And everyone should take the space that they need when they need the space. I think that's truly a wonderful thing. And I'm glad that she did that. So with that, we were going to zoom. Crystal asked if we could take a moment to say rest in peace to Twitch. I did not. I am trying to not cry on stream. The members only live stream. We talked about the passing of Twitch a little bit. It is something that has just like punched me in the gut. I actually gasped when I saw this news yesterday. For those of you who don't know Twitch, I started following Twitch, who is a dancer, content creator, was the DJ / producer / banterer on the Ellen DeGeneres show, was on Dancing with the Stars, which is where I first saw Twitch in 2007. I think the members told me it was 2007 when he was on Dancing with the Stars, and was a choreographer on that show for a while. I was heartbroken to see it. I talked about that a lot in the members only live stream last night. And what I will say is, it is grief is an asshole. And so it will pull things up. It will pull things up for people, and losing someone that you look to and losing someone that truly brings a smile to your face on social media, because he is a bright light on social media and shared joy, truly shared joy. Twitch was a Magic Mike too. Yes, he was a Magic Mike as well. Shared a lot of joy. And so it very much hurts when you see someone who brings you so much joy and know that they were also in pain. So with that, there should not be shame when you are in pain, but there often is. I hope that we can continue to have conversations about that so people don't feel that way. And the hardest thing I think I see, and I was talking about this morning and talked about this a little in the members only last night. The hardest thing is when you want an answer because we want to do something. We want to fix something. We want to be active with something. We don't want to just feel sad, feel grief, feel all the feelings. We don't want to feel all the feelings. We want to do. And I see a lot of doing. And I just want to remind you, it's okay to just feel the feelings. It's so hard to just feel the feelings, knowing that there's not really anything you can do, because there's nothing that you can do other than hope that his family finds peace, that they have love and support, and that their privacy is maintained in a way that works for them. They're allowed to talk when they want and not when they don't, and that they are just given love and support and uplifting, and know that it's okay. And it's okay that this news of somebody that we loved on social media pulls up other things for each of us. We all react differently because we pull our own griefs and trauma when something happens in our circle and in our sphere. And it's okay if you just need time to process it and to not understand it and to just feel the feelings. It's okay to just feel the feelings. There's nothing we can do. They are feelings, they are there, they exist. And we just have to feel the feelings, acknowledge the feelings, work through the feelings, and keep moving. And I am very guilty of leaning into, how can I fix? How can I fix? What do I know? How can I fix? How can I help? Um, when we lose someone, there's nothing to fix. It just is, and it's hard. Um, so take the time to feel the feelings, I guess is the thing that I'm sharing. So know that your feelings are your feelings, and it's okay to take the time to feel the feelings. So it's why I did not bring it up earlier. It is hard, and I didn't want to trigger the chat. I should have probably swooped, but I was heartbroken by it. I know a lot of you are heartbroken by it. It's hard to lose those that we look to as a bright light, knowing that what we saw on the outside wasn't how they were feeling, and that is what it is. And it's truly heartbreaking. So give yourself space. And know that, the statements from his wife were so composed and beautiful. I don't know how she did it. So it's just feel the feelings. We're not going to have the answers that we want that might help us process things. So just, I think, honoring a beautiful soul and continuing to share love and talk. So that's what it is. That's what it is. So with that, we are going to move on to tech. And for those of you that are members, I talk about that much more in depth in my own stuff. We talk about that in the members only live stream because that's what it's for. Today, we need to talk about whether TikTok's getting banned or not. We need to talk about technology and things. I love that you guys are sharing where you first found Twitch in the Step Up movies. I remember seeing him at Step Up after seeing him. Look, I love reality TV. I love competition shows. I've watched not anymore. I've fallen off of some of them, but the early days of American Idol, the early days of So You Think You Can Dance, I love all of it. And so it was so fun to see someone you saw on a So You Think You Could Dance or an American Idol, and then see them in movies and see them on TV and then see them on Daytime Talk. It was so fun to cheer them on. So with that, he was also in So You Think You Can Dance, I think. But I also don't have IMDb pulled up and my brain is emotional. So I love that you guys are just sharing all the love and all the things. Jen is like, yes, technology is cold and emotionless. Let's talk about that. Yeah, let's all agree to be angry. Let's all agree to be angry at SBF. Let's channel the feelings elsewhere. Is that healthy? Probably not. So with that, thank you all for being Leonards. It just is. It's a hard thing. And look, being a human is fucking hard. We have feelings. We can't control them. They happen. Life is hard. It is fleeting. It is short. It is unpredictable. And being a human is hard. Humaning is hard. Humaning well is hard. Humaning with compassion to others takes a tremendous amount of energy and is hard. It's all hard. Let's move on a little bit to tech. Where are we going first? I don't know. Miguelina, do you mind popping the giveaway link in for me? I can't spell giveaway. I can't. Joy, thank you for sharing. I used to teach dance with Twitch, such a light and inspiration. Truly a great loss. It is. And I think everybody feels that loss. So absolutely. But the thing we have with social is that we can remember how people made us feel, and we can remember the joy that they brought to us. And that is truly a gift that's not lost, and a gift that stays in a permanent way. I talked about this when Technoblade passed as well, it's just, it gives us the memories and those feelings, they live on. Even though the person is gone, the joy that they brought and the light that they brought still lives on. And that's an incredible legacy. And I hope that that remains the legacy and people um, can remember the legacy of how Twitch made everyone feel and not how he died. And that's why I didn't want to talk too much, because I feel like all week I have been coming onto stream and I've been like, okay, so today we are going to talk about the sad things and then we are going to move on. So we are going to talk about the sad things and then we're going to move on. So let's start our first giveaway. Should we just do hashtag Twitch in honor? I've got to populate it. Don't start it yet. I think we should. All lowercase. Somebody's going to come in and be like, are we talking about the platform or are we talking about the person? The person. So we're going to do hashtag Twitch to enter, because in lowercase, as just a little bit of an honor. I have not started collecting comments yet, so go ahead and start entering those, hashtag Twitch, and I will start pulling up what our first story is while those collect in the background. There are over 6,000 of you in here, so go ahead and put those entries in. The chat is going to be a bit preoccupied for a moment. You can enter across platforms. May the odds be ever in your favor. Let's talk about whether or not TikTok is going to get yeeted. Miguelina, I know we're running the giveaway, but can you also put up a poll? I want to ask the Lonards, do you think TikTok will be banned in the US, yes or no? Because we got some new legislation we need to talk about. So let's talk about TikTok first. And then we're going to talk about crypto influencers getting indicted, because it's did nobody watch Fire Festival and learn how to not to do the things to the not to do? I guess not. Let's talk about TikTok. In a personal update, I deleted TikTok off of my phone after researching and reading all of these stories. I deleted TikTok off of my phone. Do I feel good about it? At the moment, I do. We'll see if we continue feeling that way. Let's go to the first story. There are 3 parts. 1, the legislature, Congressy people, are trying to ban TikTok in the US. Again, this is the second time. The Senate has banned TikTok from government phones. A whole bunch of states have banned TikTok from phones. Let's talk about that first. So let's talk about the states first. So far, and this is changing literally daily. Alabama, Maryland, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Utah, Texas, and Nebraska have banned TikTok from any government employee devices at all. So that's the beginning of the crackdowns on, we can't have TikTok on any government devices. This is not unusual that if you have an issued phone that has sensitive material, that there are things you can't have on it. So I'm not surprised by that. We also see lawsuits happening in states saying that TikTok is violating privacy rights within the state. I talked about that a bit on Tuesday. We have a statement from TikTok that was given to The Hill saying, we're disappointed that so many states are jumping on the bandwagon to enact policies based on unfounded, politically charged falsehoods about TikTok. Their spokesperson, Brooke Oberwetter, told Nexstar in an email statement. It is unfortunate that the many state agencies, offices, and universities on TikTok in those states will no longer be able to use it to build communities and connect with constituents. TikTok's data collection, quote, can be used for traditional espionage operations, the FBI director said, and the FCC has called for TikTok to be banned because there isn't a way in which you could come up with sufficient protection on the data that could have sufficient confidence that it's not finding its way back into the hands of the Chinese Communist Party or the CCP. So there are a lot of back and forth. TikTok is like, what are you doing? And the regulatory agencies are like, what we're not going to do. So it is the amount and way that TikTok collects data in the US is or in the US, and I should say outside of China, is very different than how they operate inside of China. Um, when Trump was president, he tried to ban TikTok. Those were starting to be litigated. But then after the election, it became moot because Biden withdrew that. So those things never went up the flagpole that's a terrible analogy, but those things never went all the way through the court process to determine if banning TikTok is a government imposition on free speech, which is an interesting question. So is removing a platform where people connect and talk the government actually stopping speech? So those court challenges haven't happened. So what I will say is if TikTok gets banned by lawmakers, I expect we will see challenges in court asking whether this is the government impeding speech. So we will see. I think it might get banned, but I think the court might undo it. So I truly don't have a problem with the not being on government phones, and I also think that if government agencies wanted to have a TikTok account, or a museum wanted to have a TikTok account, if they were also operated by the state, or a national park or whatever, that the government could buy them a device for that thing. But technically, wouldn't that be a government device? Yes, they would have to make an exception for a social media device that they use for social media. But we'll see, because now the FCC is being listened to, and it looks like lawmakers have introduced a TikTok ban. I think I covered everything before that. So yeah, all right. We covered state legislatures. We covered that there's lawsuits. We covered that TikTok is like, stop jumping on a bandwagon. And we've covered that the 3-letter agencies are like, this is all bad, don't do this. This is all bad, don't do this. I will say TikTok's algorithm is the best algorithm I've ever seen. It will serve you what it thinks you want, but you will also, it doesn't have the connectedness that like a YouTube has. It's a very different platform, but the way YouTube connects things in its algorithm will just serve you content. So we're going to go through this story, and then we will run the giveaway. There are 1,500 of you entered. There are 7,000 of you watching. So if you have not entered yet, put hashtag Twitch in the chat, and it will enter you into this giveaway. Let us share the screen that I thought I had done. Did I know? We are professionals. We are professionals here. Just whop. We are professionals. Whop, whop, whop. What are we doing? We're doing this. This is coming from Reuters. U.S. lawmakers unveil bipartisan bid to ban China's TikTok. This was December 13th. Republican Senator Marco Rubio on Tuesday announced bipartisan legislation to ban China's popular social media app TikTok, ratcheting up pressure on owner ByteDance Limited amid U.S. fears the app could be used to spy on Americans and censor content. The legislation would block all transactions from any social media company in or under the influence of China and Russia, Rubio's office said in a news release, adding that a companion bill in the U.S. House of Representatives was sponsored by sponsored by Republican. Sorry, I am dyslexic. My brain went down to this line and skipped the rest of this line, and then it paused for a minute. Republican Congressman Mike Gallagher, Democrat Raja. I am terrible with long last names. Krish Mathari, I think. Krish Morthai. Hopefully I pronounced that properly. So these House of Representatives, quote, "It is troubling that rather than encouraging the administration to conclude its national security review of TikTok, some members of Congress have decided to push for a politically motivated ban that would do nothing to advance the national security of the United States," a TikTok spokesperson said in a statement, adding that the company would continue to brief members of Congress on the plans that are well underway to further secure the platform in the United States. They should have known that this was coming 2 years ago when they tried to ban it the last time. Why are we now just well underway to further secure the platform? Because they were like, it's fine. Look, I don't want to spread any hate for TikTok or fear for TikTok. I think transparency is what is needed in all things. I don't think there is a lot of transparency here. And I think what you can do is say, hey, I want to understand what they're collecting and decide if I care or not. And if you don't care, I will not judge you. And if you do care, I will not judge you. I think we need more transparency in how all of these platforms gather information and monitor people, how they use your location tracking and all of it. I think transparency is a big answer here. The bill comes as scrutiny of TikTok has grown in Washington in recent weeks after a failed bid by the Trump administration to ban the video sharing app, which is again why I think it never got through the court, but I think it will. Um, at a hearing last month, FBI Director Chris Rye said TikTok's U.S. operations raise national security concerns, flagging the risk that the Chinese government could harness it to influence users or control their devices. I think that's a big concern. They control their devices particularly and know what's on their devices. I think it can also be used for blackmail. Nobody says it, but Alabama and Utah on Monday joined other U.S. states prohibiting the use of TikTok on state government devices and computer networks due to national security concerns. I mean, that already should have been done. Like, if you're working for the government, you have a work phone and your work phone, work email, like your secure devices shouldn't have social media on them anyway. Any of them, not just TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, any of them. If you have a secure phone in a secure position, it should only have the work things on it anyway. Am I crazy? Ryan said only the US is allowed to use social media to influence people. I mean, they're like, right? We don't have communication. Maybe this is me just being too cynical. We don't have direct communication with ByteDance. They don't give a fuck. We have people to talk to at Twitter and Facebook. We could make that happen, but we have no control here. So damn it. So Bex said also, despite it being marketed for kids, it is in no way safe for kids. This is the second prong of this. I don't know if this article will get to it, but there are those lobbying to have the app stores not market safe for kids. And so to change the way it is in the app stores as well. So that is a prong of this, which is why we're starting to see all the child safety lawsuits come in with regard to this. All right, let us continue. This will go to court even if they block it. This law will go to court to determine if the law is constitutional or not. The U.S. government's Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, Sifu? Shifu? Is that you? Sifu. I'm going with Sifu. A powerful national security body. I don't mean to change a powerful national security body to the name of a character from Kung Fu Panda, but also you made it easy, and I'm sorry, not sorry. So Sifu in 2020 ordered ByteDance to divest TikTok because of fears the U.S. user data could be passed to Chinese Communist government, and then people were in talks like Walmart and Cisco and others were in talks to buy ByteDance or ByteDance US. And that's what it is. So Sifu and TikTok have been in talks for months amid aiming to reach a national security agreement to protect the data of TikTok's more than 100 million users. I'm assuming that that's US users because this is a US based. So I'm assuming that's US based users, but I don't know. This story, let's see. And that's it. So we will see. All right. With that, should we run this giveaway? Let's run the giveaway. I'm going to give you a minute to wrap up. So there is now a bipartisan bill in both in the House and the Senate, and we will see what happens as they take a look at those bills. I don't know what we'll see. What I do know is that if this happens, it will get challenged in court. So, will TikTok be banned? We're going to run the giveaway, and as we run the giveaway, we can end the poll as well, Miguelina. So I I have let you guys get in your last minute entries. We have 2,233 entries. So remember, you can only enter once. It won't count doubles. And so I am just seeing the entry numbers go up a few. So I'm going to give you a moment. We will do a second giveaway towards the end. Don't forget to do the YouTube likey, subscribey things. And we are going to go ahead and end the poll and draw. So after this, you guys, if you put in entries, they will not be entered. We are going to have a new buzzword for it in just a moment. So I see you guys still entering. Let's pull this up on the screen. Emily D. Baker, you say seafood. Wait, what happened? And I hear seafood, and now I want shrimp cocktail. Seafood. Everything's related to a movie that I have probably watched. I mean, that's probably true. All right, let's go ahead and draw. May the odds be ever in your favor. All right, y'all. Let's see. Who wins? Who will it be? Who will it be? Winner. See Michelle Woods Hickman over on the Facebooks. Congratulations. You just need to email with your name and a screenshot of your account over to help@the Emily D. Baker, and they will take care of you. If you need any more information, I will put it in the description and make sure it's in the description on Facebook. So help@the Emily D. Baker, because you are our first winner today, and congratulations. And then we will be able to get your address and get this sent out to you. So let's get into our other stories for the day. And we will do another giveaway. It will have a different word. Y'all, it will have a different word. So no need to hashtag anymore. Your entries, we will do new entries soon. Okay. You guys ready? You're ready to talk about crypto? We're not getting to FTX just yet. We're going to talk about the 8 Twitter finance gurus charged with criminal pump and dump scheme. Yep. That's what we're going to talk about next. Let's talk about the Twitter finance gurus. I was fascinated when I saw this story from The Verge yesterday, and then I went over to one of my favorite sources, Law 360, for the backup review of what is happening. So I'm going to go through The Verge's article. It's the first one that I saw. And then we will get into the actual documents. There are 2. So 8 Twitter finance gurus charged with criminal pump and dump scheme. We're robbing fucking idiots of their money. I imagine that comes from their Discord server. Yeah, I didn't know that Twitter finance guru was a thing. Look, I didn't know either. But we're going to go to the documents and see what they say. But first, we're going to look at this quick article to give an overview. The U.S. Department of Justice has charged 8 online finance influencers. Why is finance influencer a thing? Like, that terrifies me. I remain a mug influencer. I'm a drinking accoutrement influencer. I will accept coffee influencer as well. But why is finance influencer a thing? Like, you can't know that. We'll talk about what a pump and dump is soon. Of course they had a Discord server. Maybe get a better tagline. I think that's the point of the article, is to sensationalize what they were doing. So yeah. The U.S. Department of Justice has charged 8 online finance influencers with criminal securities fraud for running a $114 million pump and dump scheme on their collective 1.5 million Twitter followers. According to an indictment, members of the Discord-based forum called Atlas Trading used the platform and Twitter. Oh, we've got to do another poll. Our last poll was great. Our last poll said 51% of you think that TikTok will be banned. 48% of you don't think it will be banned. Here's our next poll. I want to know how many of you use Discord, if you're comfortable sharing that information by voting in a quick little poll. Go ahead and put that up. Do you use Discord? Because look, when I was told I needed to do something on Discord, I was like, I need to do what now? But Like my kid lives on Discord. It's how him and all of his friends communicate. So, oh no. Dumped my coffee on my lap. Now I need a shower. I am so sorry. Hopefully it wasn't because of your pump and dump scheme rage and just an accident. I will tell you a story, remind me later, about how I spilled something on the computer of the person sitting next to me my very first day of law school. I've never told that story on the internet. I'm mildly embarrassed that that's where my brain went now. But when I saw the I spilled coffee on my lap, I was like, I've done that to someone else and I was mortified. Mortified. Wait, there's weather discords? I want to be in a weather discord. I love weather. All right, let's keep going. According to an indictment, members of the Discord-based forum called Atlas Trading used the platform and Twitter to promote stocks they purchased in large quantities, making misleading statements about the stock's value and their intent to hold it. So similar but different to GameStop. GameStop was on Reddit, and I don't know if there were misleading statements made in GameStop. I think it was a, hey, this is ripe for this thing. Let's all buy it together, versus making misleading statements and telling people we're holding it and to buy it and then not using it. Tamara Myers, this is the reason I first downloaded Discord, was to coordinate Pokemon Go raids. Absolutely was. And then I had a Facebook group for it because it was easier for me. Once followers had driven up the price, the group allegedly secretly sold off the stock to maximize their profits. So kind of a flavor of insider trading, maybe, because insider trading is having information before everybody else and selling so that you can gain benefit. This feels in the same kind of stripes as that, where you've got them falsely inflating the price by telling everyone to buy it. We're all going to hold it, and then selling it out because they had the inside information that they were lying that they were going to hold it and then sold it out. So Gina Pitts said Emily is a whiskey influencer. I will take it. So I don't know what Discord is. So Discord is like a Slack almost. It's an app that has a bunch of different servers, and you can join large kind of conversation community, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like a Slack. I think that's the best way to chat. You're welcome to describe Discord better, but you can join the different, kind of like when you join a subreddit, you can join different Discord servers for different things to coordinate things. It kind of like Reddit. I mean, the layout's a little bit different, but kind of the same thing, where you join like a different thing and that's the thing. But what I've noticed on Discord is if you're not in the server, there's no like general place where you just see things. On Reddit, if you go in, you can just see the different posts. On Reddit, you only see what you're going to, what you are signed up for on the servers, to the best of my understanding. I don't use Discord a ton. I am not the best expert. Discord is better than Reddit and has voice rooms. It does have voice chat. That's what my kid and his friends use it for. They use it for like giant group phone calls, like that they're just open, that they just pop in and out and chat. My kid uses Discord the way I used to use AOL Instant Messenger, just to leave a big group chat open and people just pop in and pop out. That's what they use it for. So they use it as like a text messaging platform that's more private. So like a group text, but not on WhatsApp, because that's also where they coordinate all their gameplay. Gamers use it a lot to coordinate gameplay. So anyway, all right, let's continue now that we've wandered through what Discord is. Badly, because I am not the Discord. I do not use Discord a lot. Discord is much better than AIM. I use Discord voice chat daily. See, AOL was the best. We're all gonna go, oh, AIM. Question, is Discord encrypted? I will let the chat answer. I have no idea. Truly, literally no idea. All right. According to the indictment, members of the Discord forum, so they told everybody, hey, this is a great stock, it's doing great things, whatever, made misleading statements, promised they'd hold it, sold it. The SEC won't let me be, filed a parallel civil complaint. We'll look at that today too. Both complaints charged 7 of the men directly with securities fraud, while an 8th member is charged with aiding the conspiracy through a finance podcast. Oh, there's a podcast. So they're distributing they're aiding and abetting a conspiracy by talking about this on the podcast. That's interesting. The conspiracy allegedly ran between January 2020 through at least April 2022, covering an explosion of interest in securities trading during the pandemic. The conspirators include, oh gosh, it's a bunch of names that I'm going to be bad at. Edward who goes by Zach Morris on Twitter. We're just going to go with that. And currently has 500,000 followers. Perry PJ Matlock, John, the Stock Sniper with 267,000 followers. Mystic Mac with 143,000 followers. Laid Back with 150,000 followers. Tommy Cops with 129,000 followers. Huge Henny, that's funny, with 237,000 followers. Dan Diddy of Dips with 170,000 followers. I think the only way we can do this is to just go by handles. It's not actually Zach Morris. It's this guy Edward who went by Zach Morris on Twitter. Don't come for Zach Morris. Don't come for Zach Morris. Don't come for Zach Morris. Let's see. Knight ran a podcast called Pennies Going in Raw. What? That was co-hosted by one of the alleged fraudsters and, according to the SEC, promoted the others as expert traders. The defendants' fraud charges carry a maximum penalty of 25 years each, and the Zach Morris guy faces an additional 10 years from a charge of engaging in unlawful monetary transactions. Money laundering? This case is still a relatively rare example of the legal fallout in the risky, personality-driven, and positivity-obsessed world of finance influencers who, CoffeeZilla has been coming for them forever. It's about time the feds got on board. They were. Do you remember Atuzi called out what Crypto Boy or BitBoy Crypto or Crypto Man or whatever the fuck the guy's name was, and the dude sued him for defamation, and Atuzi was like, what the fuck? And then the lawsuit was immediately dropped. But don't take financial advice. Just buyer beware. Also fraud. We're not allowed to do fraud, but buyer beware. Buyer beware. All right. Constantinescu. Did I do that right? Maybe. Thank you. Chat is bae. So look, I think it's fair to say buyer beware with all of this. When somebody is saying, hey, especially when there is risk, look, here's the thing. I know that if you hate your $40 Stanley because it's like 5 pounds when it's filled with water, that you can go to whoever you bought it from and return it, and you can be like, this is not for me. And at the end of the day, your life may be inconvenienced by having to take it back to a place or send it back to Amazon, but you are not going to lose billions of dollars. And on the upside, you might like actually do the hydration things if it works well. But when it comes to investing, especially in high risk, there are concerns. I think there's a lot of room for listening to people who have financial know-how saying, hey, this is what a 401k is. This is what a healthcare savings account is. This is what these options are. This is how you diversify. This is what diversification means. This is how these financial instrument works. I think there's tons of room for that and that education. But when it's buy this is great. This one's going to the moon. If you don't have the money to lose all of that money, do not throw it in something where somebody's like, buy it, it's great. It's dink donk to the moon or whatever. If you can't burn all that money, just for me, I look at it like Vegas. If I think it's fun to see if I get money at the end or not, then maybe I will. But if I can't afford to lose that money, it's not going here. Nope. I look at it like Vegas. Hey, could win, could fucking lose it all. Don't know what's going to happen. I look at the stock market that way too, though. Could win, Could lose it all. Is that right? Maybe not. Is that how I approach it? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Um, all upside, no risk equals scam. When it comes to financial instruments, there's always risk. Always risk. Always, always risk. And that's the thing that is so hard when we get to the FTX stuff, is that they lied about the risk. That's called fraud. When I put my money in a savings account, I know what the risk is. The risk of my money being in a savings account is it's not earning more interest somewhere else. I'm losing that interest to put it in a savings account. But guess what? It's going to be there. It's going to be there. My son does penny stocks. He does okay, Rhonda. And I think that's great. Learn through doing when the risk is low. When the risk is low, it's great. And I think there's room to learn, but you have to learn. The thing I worry about is with, especially with financial influencers, especially when people want to hold on to the thing. And this doesn't just happen in the financial space. It happens in other spaces. We're going to talk about Jen Shaw. Her sentencing memorandum's due by like tomorrow. So we'll probably talk about it Tuesday. People want the thing that's too good to be true when they feel that they need something to help them. And that's when people are most vulnerable. And then they're ashamed that they lost their money in the thing. They're like, I should have seen it. But again, when we are afraid or ashamed or emotional, or we like need the thing to work because this is the thing that is going to pull me out of the thing, it's hard to make those good decisions because you're like, God, I need this to be true. And that puts people in a position where they're vulnerable, and then they're ashamed, and then they double down. And that's when you see victims of financial crimes just get pulled into everything and then making very bad decisions to try to dig themselves out of the hole. And you're chasing bad money with good to try to break even. And it happens in lots of different things, not just in finances. We've seen this happen in across different kind of areas where people are doing that, including with frauds like Jen Shaw, where it's like, you're getting this online business and it's going to be turnkey and you're going to have a website and it's just going to fucking print money for you because that's how the internet works. That's the same with some of this. Look, because it's crypto, man. It's on the blockchain. It's going to just print money. A Haunted Shadows Legacy is smarter than me. Clear. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. Yes, I definitely explain things in different ways because I always forget the official names for things. This is why Chad is bae, because I always forget. So thank you. Thank you. So with that, we are going to move on. The crypto space is the Wild West, and the Wild West is coming to an end. Regulation, the sheriff is coming. There is a new sheriff in town, and regulation is going to happen. EDB, that's called opportunity cost. When you use your resources for one thing, forgoing the opportunities, that's not risk. I guess that's fair. That's fair. The opportunity cost of keeping my money safe is that it's not earning interest elsewhere. I mean, that's fair. Jamila said people are out to scam. Yeah, because they make a lot of money doing it and they get caught very little. So there are things that you can do in the world of finance that are less risky and things that are more risky. But what you need and then I'm going to stop ranting. You need someone that can look at you, your life, your threshold for risk, your money, your prospects, your retirement, your debts, your assets, look at you and your life as a holistic person, and then help you decide on what investments should be. And if you have money to lose, I mean, whatever, do your thing. It's your money. But when people don't have money to lose is when they get taken advantage of and stuff like this. And that's why financial crimes are so devastating for people. They count on people that are going to be embarrassed. And they count on that shame to take advantage of people, which is why we need to start normalizing talking about stuff like this, so there's not as much shame around it, especially in our population, over 60 that get caught in all the computer scams. All right, let's just talk about that. This case is still a relatively rare example of legal fallout in the risky, personality-driven, and positivity-obsessed world of finance. Okay, positivity-obsessed is not just the world of financial influencers. There's a lot of influencers who do that. This brings me up to Liver King. It's like, it's going to be great. It's totally natural. No. Who pair unofficial trading advice with conspicuous displays of success. There it is. There's the lavish lifestyle. There's the lavish lifestyle. But this isn't just in this space. The entrepreneur space does this too. The like business consulting space. Look at my Lamborghini. Do you want a Lamborghini? Follow these 5 steps. Get your business popping today. Take my university or my course or my this or my, I mean, there's so many spaces that do this. In the case of the 8 defendants here, pictures on Twitter of luxury residential properties, vehicles, jewelry, and other luxury items. They always do. It's always the lavish lifestyles. And the Justice Department's indictment quotes a series of brazen texts and recorded voice conversations. Really? Oh, baby. The Lambos aren't even rented. They're like rented for the day or rented for like a few hours to do a photo shoot with. Yeah, they're not. Yes, they are absolutely. They are not leased, is what I meant. They are absolutely used as photo props, like you would do in a music video. They are props. Brazen texts and recorded voice conversations between alleged scheme participants. At one point, Knight mocks an unnamed co-conspirator who frets about getting caught and says he wants to make buys the right way. Holy shit. Someone in the conspiracy was like, y'all, this feels shady. Guys, help. This feels wrong. If you are in a group that is doing things that you might think are illegal and you opt out of that group and tell someone, you might have ended your participation in the conspiracy. This is not legal advice. This is not legal advice. Just saying, tell someone. At one point, Knight mocks an unnamed co-conspirator who frets about getting caught and said, that's the person who's going to take the deal immediately and be like, I'll tell you fucking everything. Here's all my devices. That's the person. We'll see who takes a deal first. It's going to be this person. And says he wants to make buys the right way. Quote, the fucking right way. We're robbing fucking idiots of their money. Oh, shit. Asterisks reproduced from the indictment. What are the feds afraid of saying fuck in an indictment? Come on. I mean, I get it. Maybe it's appropriate, but I've been broken. Cursey words. The fucking right way. We're robbing fucking idiots of their money. Jeez. In the same a jury's going to love this. That's it. That's your opening statement. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The Twitter bros, when asked by one of their co-conspirators to make trades the right way and do things legitimately, said, the fucking right way. We're robbing fucking idiots of their money. And that is what the evidence in this case will show. That they were on Discord and they were on Twitter lying to millions of people because they knew if they could bump the value up, that they could sell out from under their audience and, quote, rob fucking idiots of their money. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure at the end of this trial, you will tell them who the fucking idiots really are. No attorney would ever say that, but they should. You will tell them who the fucking idiots really are. Oh dear. Asterisks reproduced from the indictment. I like that The Verge was like, we're not the ones censoring the curse words. We're not the ones with the beep button, robbing fucking idiots. It's not us. Let's see. Cooperman describes the mechanics of how Rabarzik pumps stocks. Like what R does is he alerts it, and then like 5 minutes later, all his little minions start like retweeting it and saying added with him. So it like builds the hype back up. It happens every single time. They have this shit down to a fucking science. It's great. What? Z asked a very pertinent question that caught my eye. Will the 2020 case roundup include Omni and a Hellcat? Yes. 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 In another recording, though, Knight worries some of the other members worries some other members of wait. In another recording, though, Knight worries some of the other members of the right might be getting too brazen. Quote, I'm playing this extremely smart for the very long term. If you don't think all these fuckers go to jail or at least get sued, you are crazy. The indictment quote reads, we're just going to read the indictment. Just wait and see. It's market manipulation. Yep. The indictment's mention of unnamed co-conspirators and recorded conversation implies that, as it is not uncommon in finance scheme, somebody was snitching on the metaphorical group chat. Yeah, it might have been somebody who wanted to get out. Remember what I said about conspiracies? Tell someone. Twitter shows the Atlas Trading members were identified as stock pumpers well before the indictment. An account called Guru Leaks, for instance, posted multiple tweets warning about the group, but the replies included defenders. Who cares? I've been in since Feb. Reads, I've been in since February. Who cares? There's always going to be those defenders too. They manipulated stocks, including China SXT Pharmaceuticals, Torchlight Energy Resources, GTT Communications, Surface Oncology. Like, leave the oncology group alone. What the fuck? And the others. The Justice Department urges people who believe they were victimized by the scam to contact the address or number listed in its press release. Let's go to the documents because that's exactly what I want to see. So, Emily, is it going to be a long one today? Yeah, because we haven't even gotten to FTX yet. But that's okay. I want to read the tea in the indictment because this indictment actually spills some tea. I have a whole new folder now of just crypto lawsuits, and it is growing. It is growing. This is named the Twitter Discord trading ring at the moment. We might have to change it to the Twitter bros. So let's do the criminal case first, and then we will do the SEC action. All right. Oh, boy. Aries said we're going to need a crypto crime version of Law and Order really soon. Yeah, Law and Order financial crimes. Dun dun. Just for the financial crimes. It would be great. It would be great. I would watch that. We haven't even gotten back to the fucking crypto couple that was money laundering tons of shit through crypto blockchain. We haven't even gotten back there yet. All right. United States of America versus all of these people. Previously named in the article. The indictment, general allocations. I'm going to try to go with first names because it'll make it easier. If I can go with screen names, I will. In or about January 2022, in or about April 2022, defendants, Edward, Perry, PJ Matlock. Just think that's funny. John, Gary, Stephen, Tom, Mitchell, and Daniel engage in a scheme to pump and dump securities based on false and misleading information. Using platforms such as Twitter and Discord to carry out the scheme, the defendants purchased shares of security in their trading accounts, posted messages on social media platforms with false positive information about the security, including as to, among other things, the defendant's position in the security. Position meaning how long they're holding it. How long the defendants intended to hold the security, the defendant's view that the security would increase in price, and the price the security would reach. How do you know that? To induce their followers to buy the security and artificially drive up its price, right? You're telling them to do it, so then they do it, so then it does reach that price because you've told them all to do it. That's artificial manipulation of the market. 3, secretly sold their own shares of the security at a higher price to secure a profit for themselves at or around the time they posted messages to induce other investors to purchase the same security and conceal their intent to sell. From in or about January 2020 to in or around April 2022, the defendants profited at least $114 million in their scheme. The defendants, Constan, who resided in the Southern District of Texas in or around the relevant period, used Twitter handle at Mystery Zach Morris, had over 500,000 followers on Twitter, used the Discord account Zach Morris #001, co-founded Atlas Trading, purported to be a stock trading community, encouraged investors to join Atlas Trading's free chat room server on Discord, purportedly to learn how to trade securities and receive, quote, alerts or messages from him and others about securities. Over time, Atlas Trading Discord grew to become one of the largest stock trading chat rooms with over 250,000 members. That's enough members to manipulate stocks. He posted alerts in the Atlas Trading Discord on Twitter about securities that the defendants traded as part of the pump and dump scheme. Matlock, who resided in the Southern District of Texas, used Twitter account at PJ Matlock, had over 300,000 followers on Twitter, and used the Discord account PJ Matlock, #001. I don't know why Discord does that. Matlock co-founded Atlas, all the things we just said. I'm going to get Ryberzeric, maybe. Twitter account at Utah or at Ultra Calls had over 275,000 followers, used the Discord handle Ultra0374, was a member of Atlas. Same things about Atlas. Except Ultra also had a similar trading chat room on Discord named Sapphire Trading. Dell resided in California during the relevant period. The account was at Notorious Alerts, had over 140,000 followers on Twitter. Deal, I guess that's not Dell. Deal used the Discord account Mystic Mac, Shamrock, 7345, and was a member of the Atlas Trading Discord, traded messages with alerts. Herviton resided in Florida, was laid back on Twitter, 140,000 followers, used the Discord handle laidback, 6083. Didn't talk about anything more with this individual. All the other individuals, they talk about their activity in the Discord. This individual, they don't talk about any of the activity in the Discord. Cooperman resided in California. Twitter account, Oh Hey Tommy, had over 125,000 followers. Discord account, Tommy Cops, 5323, was a member of the Atlas Discord Trading. Hennessy resided in New Jersey. Huge Henny was their Twitter handle, over 225,000 followers. Hood Hug Bear, Hood Hugh Bear, I have no idea. With a bull emoji, 4034, was a member of the Atlas Trading Discord, encouraged investors. It's interesting. Sorry, as I interrupt myself. It's interesting that they're detailing some of the individual's activity and not others, which made me wonder if the others didn't have the same activity. That's interesting to me. So they're outlining what certain people did and encouraged investors, posted alerts in the Discord, also co-hosted the podcast Pennies Going in Raw, PGIR, with which Hennessy and others used to advertise as the #1 stock market podcast. Like, stock market's not even a group. How do you determine it's #1? Knight resided in Texas. Used the Twitter account at Dip Deity, over 174,000 followers. Discord Dan Deity of Dips was a member of the Atlas Trading, co-hosted the podcast. Here's the scheme. Defendants use social media platforms to maximize their profit or their trading profits. During the relevant period, they held themselves out to be skilled stock traders. Defendants, for example, frequently posted on Twitter the profits of their trading activities. Did they tell you that it was at the expense of others? The defendants, for example, frequently posted on Twitter the profits of their trading activities, frequently posted luxury residential properties, vehicle, jewelry, and other luxury items. The defendants also frequently encourage investors to join the Atlas Discord so that they could share in the defendants' financial gains by trading securities. You can do it too. You just need to follow us and do what we do, and then you'll be rich like us. So, API, thank you. If Emily is wondering about the Discord number, it's called a discriminator. It's random for generated numbers unless you get Nitro to change it, include it in your username to distinguish you from another. So even if people have the same handle, it distinguishes which handle. That makes sense. Thank you. Come on, EDB. If you're the only one doing it, then proof you're the #1. That's a very good point, Ed. We are, in fact, the #1 stock podcast. You know, I will share that the Emily Show is regularly the #1 podcast in entertainment news, but it's only because it charts that way. Me being everyone's favorite legal commentator is more of a matter of opinion. Let's see. The defendants also frequently encourage investors to join the Discord so they could share in the defendant's gains. This could be you. As Knight wrote in a private Discord message to another Twitter user. Wait, what? Oh, private direct message to another Twitter user on or about. Oh, how do they have your DMs? They've already got your DMs. If you don't think the government has access to your information, you are wrong. They already have your DMs. So much credibility. We own FinTwit. Wait, there's a FinTwit? Like law Twitter? FinTwit describes a community of Twitter users who discuss finance and stock trading. We own FinTwit. Hubris is often rewarded. The defendants use their credibility to maximize their own trading profits through their tweets and posts in the Discord, often at the expense of their Twitter followers and members of the Discord. Indeed, the defendants use their social media influence to pump and dump securities for their own financial gain. To do so, one or more of the defendants, they tell the story really well. Go Feds. This is, again, the Fed's allegations. To do so, one or more of the defendants first purchased a security, often notifying other defendants of the purchase so that they too could load their pennies before they go in raw. They could load and buy the security. After purchasing or loading the security, sorry, my brain did go there, one or more of the defendants sought to pump the price of that security by posting false and misleading information about the security on Twitter and the Discord. The defendants pumped the price of the securities by posting on Twitter and the Discord these types of messages. Here we go. Messages representing that the defendant intended to hold the security, including a swing or a longer-term trade as opposed to a short-term or day trade. Messages representing that the defendant joined another defendant in purchasing the security or was adding to the position. Messages concerning a purported price target for the security that was significantly higher than the price at which the security was currently trading. Messages concerning due diligence about the security and purported catalysts that would increase the price over time. These messages were false and misleading and omitted material information because the defendants concealed their intent to use these messages to induce investors. That will be hard to prove without the other texts. If you just had this behavior, it gets very hard to prove to a jury without the other messages, without the "we're stealing money off of idiots" messages. Because with this, you have them going, well, we did think. We thought we were overly optimistic. We thought it was. And then we realized it wasn't and we took our money out. It's like, right, but when did you take your money out and what did you tweet after that? That timeline can be convincing to a jury, but it can be difficult. When you add up the timeline plus the other messages that I think we're going to see based on that article, then you have a case that goes to a jury. So if you're sitting there wondering, well, why aren't all of these influencers regularly prosecuted? Because they don't have the goods on all of them. That's why. They don't have the inside messages that make this easier to prove to a jury on all of them. And the feds do not take cases that they think they will lose. They do not like to. The feds do not like to roll the dice. The feds are like, we got you, boo. And then they arrest you. That's how the feds like to work. So again, these are all allegations, but that is, from my experience, how the feds like to work. If they get something that they don't think is solid enough, they will send it to other prosecutorial agencies and be like, you take a look and see. Because they're busy. And they like to say, all we do is win, win, win no matter what. Indeed, because the defendants recognize that their followers on Twitter and members of the Discord frequently purchase security based on their social media posts, the defendants sought to conceal from and further mislead their followers. I'm just going to condense it to followers because we know it's Twitter and Discord. True trading positions and intentions. In this way, the defendants used social media to induce other investors to purchase the same securities that the defendant was selling or dumping so that the defendants could maximize their profits. Certain of the defendants sought to mislead followers by falsely representing that they did not sell shares of a security or dump shares on their Twitter followers and members of the Discord, and B, did not scalp or secure short-term profits or at or around the time of their social media posts, for example. So now we've got a timeline. On or about November 10, 2020, Matlack falsely maintained on the Discord that he, quote, not post plays so I can scalp 2 cents on my followers like they want you to believe. I wouldn't be here if I did that. My goal is to help this group make money and help make this group successful. Footnote 1. Quotes from social media posts used throughout this indictment present the text largely as it was written and generally do not correct or identify topographical or grammatical errors. There's no sick. They're just like, look, this is how they talk. This is just how, Your Honors, this is just how they talk. June 11th, 2021, Cooperman falsely claimed in a tweet, I just want to make it clear because I have no reason to hide it. I buy stock. Then I let y'all know what I bought. That doesn't mean I'm dumping shares or contracts on anyone. I'm not here to scalp 2 cents on people. I want us all to win together. Let's fucking kill it. It's interesting, the 2 cents that both have said, Matlock and Cooperman. August 4, 2021, Deal falsely claimed in a tweet, I buy stocks that I think have a good chart and good news. That's how I always play it, and sometimes it goes the wrong way. That's trading. I never dump shares on alerts. February 20, 2022, falsely claiming in a tweet, I never dump on my followers. I bet they're going to have a timeline at trial. Certain of defendants also criticized on Twitter and Discord other people who lost money from purchasing securities that the defendant pumped and dumped and questioned whether the defendants were in fact trading in the way they represented on social media. Indeed, the defendant's efforts to mislead and conceal material information from other investors concerning the defendant's true trading activity was critical to the continued success of the scheme, as reflected in the following exchange on July 8, 2020 between Matlock and co-conspirator 1. Oh, there they are. The person who gave information to the feds. This is the person who got the first deal. There it is. There's the first deal. Wait, how to ADHD has a Discord? Okay, I'll go join that. I like the way you work it. No diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work. Sorry, squirrel. There's the first deal. Co-conspirator 1. There's a reason they're not named. Co-conspirator 1 who participated in running the Atlas trading Discord. Co-conspirator 1. Hey, the pattern is full. The patterns is quickly becoming obvious with Atlas. Quickly going to become exposed like the stock twits pump bros. Huge/mystic post an idea. 2 minutes later, the other one joins. It's not coincidental. It's like it's a coordinated thing. Individual 1 posts a swing idea. 2 minutes later, PJ joins. We can't do it on 90% of the plays. We have to start treating it like we do with the goons. Coup. I imagine that's what that means. Coup. Sweet combo. They didn't even send it to me. I seriously joined after individual 1 posted LOL, but I know how it looks. Yeah, I mean, they just gotta tone that shit down a notch. Lol. Oh, there's more. Similarly, these two had a conversation. January 2021. It looks like we are front loading. Yeah, when you post right after with individual 1, 2, you just save yours for a dip. You post it when there is a dip and say you joined then. Works better because we'll save more plays that way. No, you're good. Just been seeing a lot of Twitter trash talking about it because Twitter trash talking, people were like, hey, don't look suspicious. Don't look no, that was them. This conversation is their don't look suspicious. Twitter was like, that's suspicious. That's weird. That's what I'm taking away from this conversation. So we got to look less obvious. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they did have to look less obvious, but they didn't. And here we are. This is why this is being prosecuted. These statements make it very easy to tie a timeline together with knowledge that what they're doing is wrong, because that is what you have to prove. The dip buy shit is the best. Oh, wait. Keep reading, Emily. The confessions get more apparent. And again, these are all allegations. in an indictment. They are alleging that they have this Discord exchange made by these people. We got to look less obvious. The dip buy shit is the best. That's the scheme. As alleged, Knight expressed the following views during a recorded conversation, February 24th, 2021. I wonder if these podcasts are still up. I mention a stock, the less likely I get involved whenever all of Atlas gets a class action lawsuit. Wait. I mention a stock, the less likely I get involved whenever all of the Atlas gets a class action lawsuit. I'm playing this extremely smart for the long term. Oh, wait, this is a recorded conversation, not a podcast. My brain conflated the two. I'm playing this extremely smart for the long term. Oh, is Co-Conspirator 1 an informant? Did Co-Conspirator 1 record these when they were talking about it? Because that's what it sounds like to me. That is my speculation. It does not say that here. It says that up above. It says where the conversations are happening with Co-Conspirator 1. But when they say a recorded conversation, why was the conversation recorded? Who recorded it? Isn't Don't Be Suspicious a TikTok original? I think so. But I don't know where it originated. I'm playing this extremely smart for the long term. If you don't think all these fuckers go to jail or at least get sued, you're crazy. PJ is posting McLaren's 10 million accounts, green 400 fucking days in a row. Come on. Every purchase is over 10,000, immediately gets turned to the SEC. And it's like everything he fucking buys, just wait and see. It's market manipulation. Oh, so you knew. Okay. SXTC, from on or about September 11th, 2020 to September 14th, 2020. These three collectively sought to pump and dump the security of the issuer China SXT Pharmaceuticals, trading NASDAQ stock exchange with the ticker SXTC through false representations. And then it lays out what they posted about. On September 11th, Deal informed Ryberzik, I'm going to pronounce that differently each time, apologies, in a direct message on Discord, how he added SXTC today and planned to post about the stock on the following trading Monday. Responded in part, thanks, bro, I'll add. Then, let's see, on or about September 11th and September 14th, purchased 62,000 shares of SXTC at an average price of approximately 24 cents plus per share. On September 11th, purchased 400,000 shares at the average price of 0.247 cents per share. On Monday, they forwarded a draft of the tweet he planned to publish to his followers on Twitter, advised him to include a number of shares. Wait. You were purchasing Twitter shares too? Oh, interesting. Ryberzik advised Deal to include the number of shares Deal was purportedly purchasing. Deal's number of shares. They're talking about posting on Twitter and the number of shares that he was purchasing. If you ever want to know if Twitter is real or not, the number of shares Deal was purportedly purchasing, quote, just to make it more appealing to Deal's Twitter followers. And if they're seeing you're adding 100,000 to 200,000 shares, oh, not Twitter shares, shares of stock. This is why reading it in real time is fun, because we get to think it through together. The number of shares of stock he's buying, not the number of shares on Twitter he's buying. Correction. And if they see you're adding 100,000 or 200,000 shares, they'll likely be enticed to add with size. So how many shares of stock they're doing. They advised to add price targets to the point, explained to Deal he will retweet Deal's Twitter post on the first dip. All right. On or about September 14th at approximately 9:09 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9:31, Matlock purchased 146,097 shares of the stock at the price of 0.257 per share. On or about September 14th at 9:32, Deal posted the following false and misleading tweet while admitting he intended to sell his own shares in STC. STC added 100K here, extremely oversold RSI. This is literally not, this is not my language. Added 100K here, extremely oversold RSI on this one recently granted NASDAQ extension to get the price over $1, and insiders own 51% of this. Great setup for a big runner. A break of 0.30 takes us to 0.40, then 0.52, then 0.61. Love the setup here. By 9:38, Deal sold all 62,103 shares of STC at an approximate price of 0.28 per share for an approximate profit of $2,000. So this is showing how it's working on and on and on. And again, for an approximate profit of $1,800, approximately 9:33, Ryberzik posted on Atlas Discord, added SXTC2, very bottom penny. At approximately 9:36, they claimed on Twitter that he was adding SXTC at these levels with you and included in his tweet the above referenced tweet from Deal that he had helped draft to entice online purchasers of SXTC. And then at 9:35, started to sell their shares. You know, all the people that were calling this out have got to be sitting there reading this being like, we told you. We told you. We told you. By approximately 9:35 and 10:29, they had sold all 400,000 shares at a price of 0.28 per share at a profit of $15,000. Don't Be Suspicious originated from a small theater company that did a play about cavemen. The whole show is on YouTube. The song I Don't Really Want to Work Today comes from it too. No way. Don't Be Suspicious and I Don't Want to Do the Work Today come from the same thing? Chat is bae. Skewed Vision. I'm going to go find it. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't want to do the work today. I'm going to go find it after this stream. Thank you. You've made my day. Sorry for the sidebar. Let's get back to this. But this is a very short amount of time to move money around to make $15,000. This is why they're doing this. I imagine they're going to do this on and on and on. This is how this scheme is working. They're focusing on two of these parties. Oh, because these are the two parties involved in that stock. All right, let's see. By approximately 10:29 Eastern Standard. So this has been going on for like an hour. This is an hour. This is like an hour and a half of time. Because it started at what, 9 a.m. Eastern? This is happening in a very short time. It's not... If they had held it, I don't want to teach people to crime better. The defense attorneys would have an easier time arguing they were holding it to see if this didn't all happen in such a fucking condensed time span. And I think that's why the feds included the time span here, because it forestalls that argument. What else were you doing? You were going on Twitter at 9 a.m. Where is it? 9 a.m. and starting to talk about it. And by 10:29, the last bits are sold. We will link the small theater company if we find it. Yes. So when you have that time span, it makes it real hard for the defense attorneys to say, well, they were going to hold it and they held it and then they sold it. This happened in such a condensed time period. I don't think you can actually make that argument with a straight face. After he sold all of his shares, Deal falsely claimed in a tweet at approximately 9:50 that SXTC, we hold an above 0.30 now. We were very early here, and this honestly should run for days to come from these levels. After they sold. This is all recorded. This is easy. This is easy. This is easy to prove for a prosecutor. You sold it this time. We have the transaction records. We have the transaction records of when you sold and how much you made. You sold it this time. You made $15,000. And then you went on Twitter at this time and said you're holding. Argue it. Come at me, bro. Argue it. By approximately 10:29 Eastern, all three had sold every share of SXTS they respectively held at an approximate average price of 0.281 and for an approximate combined profits of $19,000 in like an hour and a half. In like an hour and a half. Y'all are saying it's from Parks and Rec originally. Ben and Lizzie wrote it. I love that we're getting to the bottom of the lore. Getting to the bottom of the lore. Getting to the bottom of the lore. I Don't Want to Do the Work Today is from the Firebringer musical. Great. So thank you all for getting to the bottom of the lore. Suspicious Parks and Rec. All right. So then there's a pop culture reference within a pop culture reference, and I'm here for it. So that was an hour. TRCH. So this is another one they're going to go through. I mean, we are never going to get through all of this and get into our other topics today if I don't start zooming. But this is another breakdown of what's going to be or should be similar behavior. February 20th, 700 EST and 1011 EST. These four purchased 964,000 shares of TRCH at an approximate average price of $1.83. Posted on the Discord that long TRCH for merger, then falsely claimed in a tweet, new swing. They had to do an offering to get to the level of cash they need. Now the merger is full steam ahead, baby. A swing is a term used to describe a position in security that is held over the medium or long term as opposed to a day trade. So we're here. They're saying this is a swing stock. This is a hold stock. And a merger is in full swing. So the price is going to go up. It seemed to be what this is indicating. By approximately 10:16, Deal had sold all of his shares at approximately $2.12. So this is at 10:16. This one started at what? 10 a.m., 7 a.m., and then posting at 10 a.m. So posted it and then are selling it. Different person selling, but they purchased it at about $1.83 and sold it at about $2.12. And then they go down and break down the rest of what happened with this stock. Let's get to the final paragraph where it tells us what happened. In or about February 2021, Matlock, Ryberzik, Deal, Cooperman, Hennessy, and Knight profited approximately $876,000 from the pump and dump of TRCH. And then they've added all of the different intermediary steps at when the tweets came in and when the trades came in. They've done such a good job in this indictment. We saw the FTX indictment was like, these crimes happened. This indictment is like, and then at this time they said this, and then at this time they did this. This has been in the works quite a bit longer, clearly, than the FTX indictment, because this has laid out when the trades happened to the tweets, and this is very important for how a prosecution would lay out, because this is exactly what they would do in court, and they would do charts of like, here's the trade, here's the tweet, here's the stock price, here's the trade, here's the tweet, here's the stock price, and show the jury how it's going. Like a movie, I think you could write a movie script off of this. I think it gives you all of the information you need for when they were trading. I think somebody could absolutely dramatize this from this indictment. Despite trading in and out of TRCH in and around the times of his social media messages, Matlock falsely claimed that he was a long-term holder in TRCH on February 16th and tweeted, TRCH is our core swing is from 2.50 to 2.60. No need to worry. We need dips for health. Keep rolling, baby. GTT. March 1st, 2021. The same group collectively purchased approximately 301,000 shares at approximately $1.76. So this is March 1st at 13:37 EST. At 13:37:35. So they literally purchased it and like 30 seconds later are on Twitter, GTT 24 RSI +++, major multi-billy money sign catalyst. While omitting the material information that he intended to sell his own shares at or about the time of the tweet, Knight stated in a recorded conversation in reference to the tweet, "Oh, there it is. Tweet, tweet, tweet. There's the tweet." So they were waiting for this to all go down. So it's showing the coordination. At approximately 13:38 through approximately 13:39, so a minute, they sold 35,000 shares at an average price of $184 for a profit of $1,000. Then we're getting into a recorded conversation on or about the time of the tweet. Knight stated, "I don't think Razorback will accept the price of GTT not going this much. I refuse to believe it. He's got more pumpers in him." At approximately 13:39, he tweeted, "GTT 110 million market cap with $2 billion plus deal in place." From approximately 1340 to 1445, they collectively sold 243,000 shares of GTT for an average price of $186 for a profit of $24,000. Later in the same recorded conversation, co-conspirator 2, oh, here's another one. Co-conspirator 2, this will be a non-prosecuted individual who has given information. I didn't mean to say money, given information to the feds. Yeah. Co-conspirator 2 had the following exchange about trading GTT. Knight, "My first buy was 35,000. My next was 7,500. Co-conspirator 2, "I know. I don't want to." I wonder if they were already working with the feds at this point, and that's why they are recording the conversations. I wonder how this all went down. Did the feds come to them and were like, "Hey, so this is all going down. Do you want to essentially wear a wire?" This is essentially the wear a wire part of it. The wolves of Wall Street became the dimwits of Discord? Possibly. Jamila, more than somebody snitch. We got a couple snitches up in here. However, look. In groups of people, someone will talk. Someone will always talk. Someone will always talk. If you are doing shit, someone will talk. When I worked with the U.S. Attorney's Office when I was in law school, most of the cases we saw, and I was in the tax crimes division, were exes, ex-employees, ex-partners, ex-lovers, ex-spouses, exes. It was exes. And the exes were like, "Hey, IRS, you might be interested in this information." But sometimes the feds, when they are infiltrating or investigating a large group, will find members of the group to start working with to record conversations. This is how the college admission scandal happened. The college admission scandal, or Operation Varsity Blues, went down because they were investigating one person. And that one person was like, "Hey, I know you're investigating me. However, did you know this? That person is doing this." And there's this whole thing. And then they went to the head of the college admission scandal, the dude that was orchestrating everything, and then had him start recording conversations with all of the people who were buying his services. And so he got prosecuted, but less time. And then they all got prosecuted because he was the one on the recorded conversations with the feds. So the ringleader was working with the feds to prosecute all the people who had used his services because somebody else said, "Yeah, I know you've got me, but what about them?" Someone will always talk. Someone will always talk. Later in that same recorded conversation, Knight, a co-conspirator, had the following exchange about trading. "I saw a good question. Does two-party consent for a recording not apply to the government?" Here's the thing about the two-party consent. Well, the government could get warrants to wiretap. I don't know if warrants happened here. The government can get warrants to have these things recorded without notification. Not all states are two-party consent. So depending on where the person recording is, if they're in a one-party consent state, then maybe you don't have an issue with two-party consent for recording because it depends on the state. Also, for it to be a problem, somebody has to prosecute it. And if these individuals are getting granted immunity because they are working in this realm, even if they are doing improper recording, they're not going to get prosecuted for it because it's part of their deal with this, if that makes sense. So it depends. And it also depends where the conversation's happening. If this is like a Discord voice chat, is it different? And I'm not going to tell you what I think about whether it's different or not, because I don't want people being like, "Well, I'm only 7, so I'm going to just record all this shit." Generally, you need notice when recording. There can be exceptions to that. I'm fascinated. I didn't realize this was going to be so detailed. And how invested are you guys? Are we invested? Like, just pop a one in the chat. Are we invested in the story here? Like, all the tea in this. And then we're going to get to SBFT in a minute. All of the tea. All of the tea. Like the song states, two can keep a secret if one of them is dead. I mean, you know, I believe the great term is, I mean, there's, look, honor among thieves. You got to trust who you're rolling with, man. And this is too big of an operation for somebody to not say something. You guys are like, yes. Night. My first buy was 3,500. My next. Okay, here's the conversation. I know. I don't want to. Why? I don't want to get caught. So I'll just add slowly. Get caught. I just want to do it the right way. I don't want to night. The fucking right way? We're robbing fucking idiots of their money. It's your opening statement and your closing statement. Yeah, that's your closing argument and your opening statement. Later in the same recorded conversation, do you think the individuals who are being indicted are I mean, they will probably know who they had these conversations with. But do you think they're like, oh, fuck. We suspected this might have happened. Here it is. Imagine that's a day when you're like, I need to find an attorney fast before the feds seize my assets. Later in the same recorded conversation, Cooperman described in part how Rybazaric used social media to pump the prices of securities. Like what R does is he alerts it, and then 5 minutes later, all his little minions start retweeting it and saying added with him. So it's builds the hype back up. Happens every single time. They have this shit down to a fucking science. It's great. Yeah, they do it within an hour. Why would you admit this ever? Hubris. Andrew said, I said that earlier. They could rest their prosecution on the opening statement with that line. Yes. I mean, especially in cases with a lot of parties that are going to be pointing fingers at each other. If this ever goes to trial, which it's more likely it doesn't go to trial than it does. Having the audio recording is impactful. Hearing how people are saying things, hearing them say it. We saw that in Depp v. Heard, and the jury had that in Elizabeth Holmes too. Camille Vasquez standing in court saying, and she said, tell the world, Johnny, tell them that I, Johnny Depp, a man, I too am a victim of domestic violence. Who's going to believe you? That's not as powerful as hearing it in a recording from Amber Heard. You get the tone, the inflection, you can hear the feeling. While transcripts are great, while seeing a text message is great, a recorded conversation hits different to a jury because it shows you a different side of the person that is sitting there accused of doing the thing when you hear it. Because I imagine the way they said this was incredulously. That's what I imagine. And I imagine all the prosecutors went, they said that on tape. They said that in a recorded conversation. It's recorded. We have that on tape. We have them on tape saying we're fucking robbing idiots of their money. That's when people are high-fiving themselves in the office because they're so thrilled. These are prosecutors who had a real good day. Real good day. They heard that and they were just like, later in the same recorded conversation, Cooperman described in part how they use social media. We read that on or about March 1st, 1551 and 1557, purchased approximately, these are minutes, 317,000 shares of GTT at 183. At 1607, falsely claimed to the Discord, I just added GTT with Ultra, a reference to the Discord account of that person, Ryberzak. Without disclosing, he intended to immediately sell their shares. Starting at 1608, they started to sell their shares. Purchased at 1551, selling at 1608. by 1622, sold the entire portion, 317,000 shares at a price of $199. So from 183 to 199 for a profit of $50,000. After selling the shares, claimed in the Discord will hold overnight. My Discord is popping off. I assume some of you found Robin Runkle's Discords. B. Holding said a lot of stuff can sound bad in text. That's why I use tone indicators. It's much easier in text to tell people if you're being sarcastic, because I will misread text all the time. I find tone indicators very helpful. B. Holding, Faye, animations. I almost said something else and I don't know what I was thinking. $50,000. Question, do prosecutors want to take this case to trial because they seem easy or settle them quick to bet? It's going to depend. I don't know this prosecutor's office. I don't know who the heads are. It's going to depend on if they want to make an example out of them or not. It's also going to depend. I'm imagining these individuals have no records. I'm imagining that this is a first offense. So it's going to be the prosecution's office, the judge. These individuals could just plead guilty. We're going to see what their charges are in a minute, but they could go to the judge and be like, I plead guilty to that. Can you give me a deal? And just cut the prosecutors out of it immediately. So it really just depends. But if they just want to plead to the court, they can. If so, the prosecutors don't have the opportunity to go to trial. It might be why all of this is just in the indictment, so people know what happened if they want to plea, especially if they're each only charged with one count. But they might not. They might want to fight it and be like, no, you're taking these things out of context. The timing, though, these are things that are going to be provable. It's going to be provable whether you traded or not, and it's going to be provable what you said in Discord and time-stamped. Unless they're arguing that the timestamps are, I don't know what they're going to argue. The timestamps are off? I don't know. So they profited $50,000 on that one. After they claimed it a tweet, GTT short squeeze of $3 when GTT was trading at approximately $2. They sold 97,000 shares at $16.09, falsely claimed in a tweet GTT won't end pretty on the short side. Book value 3.44. On or about when GTT was trading at approximately $198 a share. And then between that time, sold additional 50,000 shares. After selling their shares, tweeted GTT Insane Weekly, one of the most beat up technology names out there, just playing the bounce here. In March, this group made an approximate profit of that pump and dump of $199,000. And then they go to Surf, and then they go to ALZN, and oh, we've got another text message. Well, we love the text messages. Let's read that one. On or about June 30th, 2021 at 12:37 EST, Deal exchanged the following private message with Ryberzik about the forthcoming plan relating to ALZN. Deal. We are loading these shares back down here on ALZN to send to NHOD, new high of the day, after lunch if you want any more. Yes, sir. Huge says get size, and then posting. And then the post is on Twitter. ALZN is now my largest swing position open. We broke 12 earlier, but that was a tease on what this will do. I add up these dips through lunch, and now I will ride this for new highs and more. I like the potential here, and the market is hot for it. At approximately 13:02 EST, posted the same message in Atlas. And then what do we have? Same day, 13:02, between 13:02 and 13:11, sold the stocks at $11.66 per share and closed. Sold everything else they had. And then posted in the Discord holding. Good note against the tide. Always a good thing to research. This is wild. The timing on this is going to make it real easy for prosecutors, real difficult for defense attorneys. Because the timing is just, I mean, we'll see what the defense has to say, but the timing is just there. B Week said, now my ADD brain is, I can hear EDB singing, look, here comes the consequence, consequence, consequence. Look, here comes the consequence, chasing me right now. They're just using their community to bankroll their lives. Fucking wild. And it's wild. Props to the prosecutors for writing a great indictment that is easy. Like, I do not know a ton about stock trading. What I do know is these are high pressure situations and prices can change by the minute. And they are laying out the story in a way where, even though this is not my world, you can see the pattern here. You can see it. Let's get to the last sentence. In June, this group profited approximately $212,000 from the pump and dump of that. Now we go on to the next one, UPC. Over 300,000 shares purchased. This at this point looks like a pattern to me. Buy, post, sell, post. Profit. In June, from UPC, they made $356,000 in probably a matter of hours. UPC is still holding the overnight. Let's go. At the same period, they sold all their remaining shares and closed. ABVZ, August 11th, 2021, purchased shares at a price of like $3 a share. Talked about holding it. Profited over $59,000 from the trade, falsely maintaining they were holding it, claiming that they were a, quote, bag holder at or about the time that the price of ABVC had declined, and falsely maintained, I hold my word and don't dump on anyone. On August 11th, closed at approximately $3.58 per share. On August 12th, opened at $2.71 per share. So there you go. On or about August 12th, claimed, sorry all about ABVC, taking time to make sure the next is a big winner. I'll make sure it's available to Discord and Twitter at the same time too. After how much profit? Oh, like $60,000. CEI. Let's see. This is the back and forth conversation with regard to this one. I want to just get to the end at the profit. Defendants falsely claimed to be holding shares when they were not. September 1st, 2021, 15:05:32, tweeted, when me, at Mr. Zach Morris, at Notorious Alerts, at Laid Back are in something, you Emily, are you glad that this is the one you picked? Yep. Thanks, ADD. You strap your fucking boner pants on and you say thank you. CEI. Okay. On September 9th, they tweeted, CEI, that's a triple now, at Laid Back, at Mr. Zach Morris, loving the action. Thanks for mentioning this idea. On the way to a $2 bill next. I mean, dollar bills, yo. Another tweet, CEI, I'm still full on this too. I wouldn't be tweeting about it every other day if I wasn't. Indicates to me that they're holding. Sophie asked, is there a Jen Shah sentencing today? No. Her sentencing memorandum is due by tomorrow. Why are they tweeting all this? So other people will buy it and then they can dump it at a high price before the bottom falls out. They're tweeting about this to make people buy so that they can dump their stock so everybody else is left holding the loss. If the Discord peeps didn't know about stocks, they would see the price pump as a real increase and not false inflation. Yeah, that's the problem. The people who are putting their money in think that they're being given good advice. The people who are putting their money in think they have the inside track, think that these influencers are telling them there's this dollar valuation, this is in a good position. They think that what they're being told is true and that the price going up is, in fact, those true things that they saw in the market happening, versus everybody buying it, making it falsely inflate and then dropping, hence the pump and dump problem. Kevin Mitchell wagging the dog, essentially. Yes. They are basically indirectly robbing their followers. I feel like they're directly robbing their followers. They're telling their followers to do it. Their followers do it and they take the money out. I mean, I guess maybe it's indirect because they're not actually grabbing into their followers' wallets, but their followers are putting the money in the stock. The stock goes up. The influencer pulls the money out. The stock crashes down. So yeah, I mean, it's a middleman to a theft. That's what they're alleging. Being the middleman being the stock market. Let's see. In September 21, certain of the defendants sought to pump the share price of CEI by falsely claiming in tweets CEI could reach $10 per share in and around the time CEI was trading below $3 a share. That's a big gain. If you get in at 3 and it goes to 10, it's a big gain for you. Big gain. You're like, directly, Rob, this is market manipulation. Yeah. I mean, when my lawyer brain went, well, they're not like physically taking it, and robbery is a physical taking, but yes, in a colloquial sense, it is. This is theft, more of a theft through false pretenses, through the market manipulation. It's all fraud. It's all alleged to be fraud. Because again, this is a charging document. These are allegations. They are innocent until proven guilty. These are allegations against them. On or about September 24th, they tweeted that SEC can go to 10. Between approximately 12.17 and 12.33, they sold the entire position of it at a price of $2.187 for approximate profit of $10,000. Tweeting at 11:51 and then selling right thereafter. On September 27th at 14:26, these times are so important. Falsely claimed in a tweet, CEI is not a game, just based on hashtag oil, hashtag gas. We should be at $10 stock because we are seeing commodity prices or gas up 500% from 2020 lows. You do the math. I already did. We're just starting. So they're telling their followers, there's a reason that this is going to go to the moon based on these external factors, but it's not. It's going up because they're making up these stories. Them saying this is why it's going up. Between 14:28 and 14:57, they close their position by selling. Tweet at 14:26, sale between 14:28. Tweet at 14:26. The sale started at 14:28. Less than 2 minutes later. The timing is insane. This timeline is insanely detailed. It is. They're going to have the best charts. Like the PowerPoint presentation on this is going to be so good. This time, it's moments they start selling. Sells off 150,000 shares for a profit of $15,000. They broke this down really, really well. So kudos to the prosecutor who broke down something that can be very complex and told the story. They tweeted this, they tweeted this, they tweeted that, then they sold, and this is how much money they made. On or about August 21st and in around October 21st, the defendants collectively profited $5.4 million on the pump and dump of CEI. And he said, unfortunately, not all of this is illegal. The lying part is. DATS a problem. No, DATS is another one. On or about October 23rd, in a private message on Twitter to individual number 2. Oh, we have another unknown party in a Twitter DM. Forwarding a link to the chat room. That's my secret DAT chat. What's a DAT? Discord? Is that a DAT chat? I'm keeping the room locked. We're only buying on float IPOS and locking up the float. I know how old I sound reading this. I don't know what these words mean. I don't know. These words mean something to the people that are saying them. I don't know what they mean. Without pumping on Twitter, keep this to yourself. I'm only inviting people I think are good. Individual 2, I'm in. Lips are sealed. We have the DATS float locked. Yes, I'm holding in at 4.76. Between September and October, the defendants collectively sought to pump the price of DATS by tweeting and posting in the Atlas Discord. Oh, so the DATS chat was the chat in Discord about the stock. Got it. Great, Emily. Good way to connect that quickly. Indeed, the price per share of DATS rose from approximately $4 a share in or around August 2021, the time when they were secretly planning to load shares with others, to a high of $15.09 per share. So they got it from $4 to $15 in October 2021. So probably not everybody got ripped off that invested in this one. There were probably some people who were like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Kelly B, the giveaways do include Facebook. In fact, our first winner today was from the Facebook audience. So yes, don't worry about it. We do. We do it on both. There were some people who took this tip who got out at 8, got out at 10, got out before 15. Some. So they got it up to $15.09 per share, as is alleged here in October. On or about December 2nd, it closed at $3.74 per share. There's the crash. Certain of the defendants made false misleading tweets and post in Atlas. This one's going to be harder because the timing isn't as close. This is a longer play. They talk about loading for a swing. Seven will be cheap when it squeezes. This juice was not worth the squeeze, I don't think. Maybe it was. Between approximately 1451 and 1452, they closed their position by selling all 10,000 shares at an approximate price of $7 per share for a gain of $3,000. Let's get to the bottom of this one and see what the total take they are alleging was at the end of this one. Lots of tweets. They go person by person on this. Tweets and cycles. Let's see. It doesn't have the same roundup of how much people made when they sold. So here's this profit. Konstantin sold approximately 300,000 shares of approximately 600,000 shares at a price of $11.47 for a profit of $715,000. Then they go to BBI, more back and forth. I'm pumping while it's still cheap. Don't tag me when you chase over 50 cents. Sold the shares at a profit, they allege, of $124,000. So that's the facts that they've alleged. Count 1, conspiracy to commit securities fraud. All defendants doing the things. The purpose was to make money, manner and means. And then they listed the manner and means. Counts 2 through 11. Oh, this is not one count. They're not pleading open to this. Remember when I said if it's just one count, they can go to the judge and be like, Your Honor, I plead to that. This is not just one count. We are now at 11 counts of securities fraud. So it's going to be for each security. Yes, it is. With the different defendants as to the different counts. So count 2 is these 3 defendants for these dates for this security. Count 3 is these different group of defendants from February for TRCH. Count 4. So we've got a chart of which defendants go to which counts. Not all defendants are facing all counts. Count 12, engaging in monetary transactions in propriety derived from specified unlawful activity. This is just this one defendant, Konstantin, maintained an account, the brokerage account. So they found the account numbers, through search warrants before this. On or about March 8th, the bank account balance was approximately $1.1 million. From March 8th to March 16th, caused $4 million in criminally derived property to be wired from the brokerage account to the bank account. On or about March 16th, the bank account had $5.3 million and no further funds entered the bank account after March 18th, 2021. So now they're tracing the money. They're going to try to go get it back. And then are going into Edward. I pronounced this better earlier. I'm not going to pronounce it well now. This is all with that wire fraud. Did knowingly and engage in a monetary transaction by and through a financial institution, trading more than 10,000, cause a wire transfer of approximately $3.45 million to the bank account payable to title company and bank 2 to purchase real property. So homes were purchased and lots were purchased with that money. They're alleging forfeiture allegations. This is where the government comes and takes your shit, your bank accounts, anything you bought with this, anything you bought with this money. If they can trace the money, like, oh, the money went into your bank account, money came out of your bank account, you bought a house, give us the house, give us the car, give us all your, this is when the government comes and takes your shit at the end of this. So this is the criminal forfeiture. There are a lot of mixed feelings on criminal forfeiture. I am going to zoom through this. They list a bunch of properties in this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, those are on the same street. Wait. 3 of these right now are on the same street. This feels reminiscent of Omni and a Hellcat that had like 5 properties on the same street. So 3 of these are on the same street. I don't know how close together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are all in Texas. 10 properties that they are seeking to forfeit. 10 homes that were purchased in different areas in Texas. The reason I took this off the screen, even though this is public record, I don't know if they are renting those homes, if they are living in those homes, if they have families on those homes. But they listed each of the properties for asset forfeiture. I don't want to just participate in putting that on the internet. It's not really relevant, other than to say it's odd to me that some of these are on the exact same street, though that's common when people are buying stuff up like this. You will see the chunks of like, I want all 4. I want all the houses at the end of the block. Okay, that's the indictment. We're not going to get to the SEC filing, other than to look at real quick what charges are in the SEC filing, because we've got to move on to SBF. I was more fascinated than with the FinTwits. This is now the FinTwit case. I was more fascinated with the FinTwits than I thought I would be, because that's a real fucking detailed indictment. Some interesting. Look. You got all the tea in there. You've got informants. You've got DMs. You've got recorded conversations. You have things that look like they're real incriminating statements. And you've got a lot of money being made. Wow, wow, wowie, wow. This is the SEC jury demand. Everything we just talked about. Violations, you can't do that. As a result of the manipulation, all of these individuals, Constantin, Matlock, Cooperman, Dell, Hennessy, Haverton, Ryberzak, violated, and unless restrained, will continue to violate Section 17A of the Securities Exchange Act of 1933. Yes, we're still trying to make the Securities and Exchange Act of 1933 work in modern times. Yes, that's how laws work. They're old. Section 10B of the Securities and Exchange Act of 1934, Rule 10B through 5. Knight aided and abetted, and unless restrained and enjoined, will continue to aid and abet. Nature of the proceedings. They want to ban them from ever doing this stuff again. And then they go through each of the defendants and then the facts of the scheme. We just went through exhaustively the facts of the scheme. This SEC complaint has a lot of it. Yeah. So those are some of these statements that they made. More statements that they made. You know, this might need its own. Oh, we've got pictures. This might need its own podcast episode. On July 15th, Matlock tweeted McLaren Spider. Okay. Zach Morris, treat yourself with a car. I know it's a Lamborghini. I like that they removed the person that they are not charged, that the SEC is like, we're not going to dox this person. We're not going to dox this person. So the SEC's got a whole bunch of feelings. July 26th, 2021 Lamborghini Aventador. Is that how you pronounce that? Roadster, welcome to the family. The doors are always cool, but it looks really hard to get in and out of. Like it doesn't look comfortable. I'm sorry. I like an SUV land boat that's squishy with like a big screen on it that I can just like roll down the road to Starbucks like an average ass suburban mom with my messy bun and my Ugg boots. I'm basic and I want a big car. I don't want to have to bend down to get into it. Like you have to squat. Yes, we do love pictures. We love pictures. It's orange. I can't believe it. We love pictures. We love pictures. On July 16th, Dill tweeted, actual 500 into 7 million, but who's counting? Are you explaining how you got there, though? About 5K short of $1 million month. Truly unfucking real. We'll nail it in November, I promise you. Let's go. Did you tell them where the money was coming from? Probably not. So the SEC has keyed on other statements that weren't in there. Though they did the get caught, we're robbing fucking idiots of their money. That's in here too. That's in here too. Cooperman, it's funny because I can see see the timeline of these. Like, I get it. The ticker. I send it to Dan. I know Dan's on voice. Dan tells you guys. I see it go up more. Then I send it to Gary. And then I see it go up like way more. Laughter. My other thing is too, it's like, all right, if we lose on one of these, we've won on like 100. So we got to remember with these ultra ones, they all do the same things. It's like spikes comes down for a second. Then the scalpers get out, like Gary gets out, and then it goes fucking buku. But no, that's not only it. Like, what he does is he alerts it, and then like 5 minutes later, all his little minions start like retweeting it. They have their shit down to a fucking science. We've seen that quote a lot. So this goes into even more details from the SEC saying this is a complete pump and dump scheme. They're lying and then they're dumping. Examples of the market manipulation. We went through a lot of these. Ran to $3 last time from these levels. And then they're saying, look, we went here. Is it ready to do it again? We're about to tweet about it. Good Lord. Good Lord. I want to get to their allegations at the end. This is a really, really detailed SEC. Good God. How long is this complaint? This is a very detailed SEC complaint. Here we go. Again, tagging on all the same stocks that we saw in the criminal complaint. First claim of relief, fraud in the offer or sale of securities. Second claim for relief, fraud in connection with the purchase or sale of securities. Third claim for relief, aiding and abetting violations of Section 17 of the Securities Act. Fourth claim, aiding and abetting violations of Section 10B of the Securities Exchange. Prayer for relief, ban them from doing this. Disgorge all the shit. They're going to be fighting with the criminal court to disgorge all the benefits because the criminal court's going to try to get that under forfeiture and probably will before the SEC gets it. Retain jurisdiction over the action. So really, this is to stop them from ever being able to have brokerage accounts again. That's basically the civil action. But the SEC is going to get in on it too. So there we go. The FinTwits indicted SEC violation. And I think we will see more of these. If they're investigating this one, they are probably investigating more. This one's coming out of Texas. This isn't the Southern District of New York. So the Southern District of New York is not the only AUSA's office that's looking into these schemes. And here's the thing. People will tell on you. If they think you're up to something, they're going to tell the feds. People on the inside are going to tell the feds. People on the inside who are like, the wheels are coming off of this shit will tell the feds to save their own ass. I'm sure there's money. I'm sure there's more of these. Going down. And I'm sure there's more of these being investigated. Y'all, look. They have receipts on receipts. Oh, they have receipts on receipts on receipts on receipts. They were just like, they're Peter Mon with these receipts. The feds are just like, beast with the receipts. All of it. And the feds aren't going to drop a case. SBF's a little different. This is a good segue as we get into SBF. SBF's a little different. The feds like to have their investigation done. Your bank accounts, all of the text messages, all the DMs, all the receipts before they even whisper that anything is happening. So the feds very much like to have this done. The SBF case is different because it fell apart so fast. And that's why we see the differences in these indictments. Also, the Southern District of New York doesn't always give a ton of detail in their indictments from the ones we've covered on the channel. But everything happened so quick with SBF. I think the feds felt like they had to grab him. Like had to grab him. Yes, please, Magdalena, go ahead and end the poll because we're going to run our second giveaway. So here's a moment. Let's run our second giveaway. Hi. First of all, do the YouTube-y things. Thank you. It actually helps. YouTube has been not loving not loving at all the content I've been talking about and isn't showing as many of you my videos. I don't know why. It does that on occasion. So liking and engaging with the videos, subscribing to the channel actually does help. It always feels weird to say, but it actually does help. Um and so if you don't mind doing the YouTubey things with the likey, subscribey things, leaving a comment, and we're going to get into our next. I was just trying to think at the same time what our next word is going to be. Question: do you use Discord? No, 61%. Yes, 38%. Right. That's exactly where I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at. So I'm going to give you. I saw lots of you saying stacks of receipt. So the entry word will be hashtag stacks. Remember, you can enter once. You just have to be a subscriber because you can enter the chat, and then you have to be willing to be contacted by email to give us your email address. The rest of the terms and conditions are in the description. This is a giveaway of the Law Nerd box, which includes your very own Law Nerd unicorn cup and your very delightful Law Nerd gavel stress squishy in this incredible 200K box. There's other stuff in here that I hope will delight you. And then you just need to email us at help@EmilyDBaker, and we will get your address and get this sent out to you. I'm very excited. If you are here and do not win today, I will be doing another giveaway on Instagram. That is the last place we will be doing it, with more opportunities for you to enter. And of course, I will never ask you for money to enter. I will never ask you for shipping. I will never contact you and be like, you won something, here's shipping. I will have you contact me. If you are in the members spaces where you enter with your email, then we will contact you. But when I run these on YouTube, you will contact us. We will verify that you won, and then we will send it out. And that is it. I'm never going to ask you for money for that. When I do ask you for money, it's at the Law Nerd shop or to join as a member. That's it. We are very clear on when we ask for money, and it's support, and it's always your choice. The content here is free. So that's wild. We only have about a half an hour left. I've got some questions. I'm going to answer a few super chats, and then we're going to get into SBF. So Soda said, it's my birthday in Minnesota, watching snow and ADB. Great. Louise Lemon, thanks, Emily, for your positivity on how to process what's going on in my head. You're welcome. It takes work. I just hope that I can help you. If I can help normalize the work, then I can share what I've learned, because you never know. And I say this all the time. You never know when one thing that somebody says is going to resonate. I tell you what, I remember the moment I was in the car talking to my friend Warren, who runs the world's largest octopus fan club at Octonation. You will regularly see him in the chat. And we were chatting, and he mentioned time blindness kind of going hand in hand with ADHD in his own experience. And I was like, say those words again. I had never heard anyone actually express what I was struggling with time blindness. And I was like, you have literally changed my world. I can start to understand this better and stop feeling so ashamed of the thing, because you helped me understand. Even if there's not always things I can do about it, you've helped me understand it. And that matters. So I try to talk about things just because one thing might help you understand and be like, I understand that better. And if I understand it better, even if I still have all the feelings, at least I understand a little more. And understanding can help. I want to understand what's going on. I do. It makes me feel better to understand. So, you might be in a podcast said there are so many people who jump to conclusions. Thanks, Emily, for bringing humanity back to our space. I don't want to ever jump to conclusions. Even if I jump to conclusions in my brain, I need facts before I have conclusions. If I don't have facts, I will tell you this is speculation, and then I will tell you what the speculation is based off of. But I do not ever want to speculate in a way that could lead to bad information or be harmful. That's just not the way I do things. And you never know. I can't foresee everything. So I like to pause and ask questions first. And that's not always easy, to pause and ask questions first. Poison Elf. I really appreciate the work you have done on recent streams. Thank you. Thank the mods. Happy holiday season. I know, I can't believe we have one left. Members only is amazing. It was awesome sharing some whiskey with you. Thank you so much, True. It was lovely. My first live, much needed today, the anniversary of my mother deciding to leave the earth. I'm so sorry, Karen. And we talked about some heavy topics earlier in the stream today, too. I hope that wasn't too difficult, or that you at least got to feel the love of the Law Nerd community if it was. Nicholas, thank you. There were some similarities between FTX and the 2014 MTGOX BTC fraud, both run by people who thought of it as their piggy bank. as so many. Tom Girardi seemed to think of his law firm as his piggy bank. Definitely not. This type of behavior is not confined to the crypto space. Like, this is not a crypto space problem. This is a money problem. This is a greed problem. Thank you, Faye. TikTok in China is super educational. Ours dances. Diana, that's what I've seen reports of as well. Law and Lumber gave a shout out to Moffat on Money for an understandable breakdown of SBF FTX. The video is worth a watch. Fantastic. I will check it out. Subra, I think I said that right. I have mixed feelings about China. They're archaic, but thanks to the CCP protocols of face scanning and fingerprints, my abuser was arrested at the airport and I could escape after 2 years. So grateful. I think it's important to share perspectives. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad that your abuser was arrested and you could escape. That must have been terrifying. So thank you. And I understand the mixed feelings. Two things can be true at once. Two things can be true at once. And so you can have a good experience with something that can also be a negative experience, if that makes sense. Just want to say hello. Good morning. Thank you. Obsessed with my hair. Thank you. Garland helps me very much, and I appreciate it. They frame the argument is free speech versus data collection by a foreign adversary, which has potential influence over TikTok, concerning all around. It is, I think there is a conversation to be had about whether or not regulating TikTok is speech. And again, conversation. Whether it should be done or shouldn't be done, that's the court challenge that's going to happen. And I think we have to talk about it. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you to the mods. Our mods have been starting to get some holiday goodies. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki posted about Captain Corey. They're sending him a package in case you hadn't already seen. I had not already seen, but I am glad that that's happening. I know that this story was working up the chain at YouTube before the channel went down, and I'm really glad that happened. So I'm glad that YouTube did that. I'm glad that they expedited it. Look, as a platform, YouTube, I do think, is when we're talking about Captain Corey, YouTube wants to do the right thing. You know, YouTube loves the stories of people who want to be YouTubers. They want to see the creators that inspired other creators. That is part of what is great about the platform. That it's not the same on another platform. Kids don't want to be a Twitter star. They don't want to be Insta famous. Most kids still love the platform of YouTube because the creators they love are on YouTube and increasingly on TikTok. But the creators they connect with are on YouTube, which is why it's such a big responsibility, with great power. So I'm glad. For me, a vibrating watch with a hydration alarm helped me keep on track with time. Vibrated to remind me a half hour had passed, found one on Amazon. I tend to set alarms on my Apple Watch when I need to. Hey, Tina here from Dubai. Hey, Tina. The panini, because I think these are still banned words. I mean, I've probably said all the banned words today. Fooled many people to invest. I think people were afraid, and there was a lot of volatility in those markets at that time. I'm also a lover of super tanks, Suburba tanks. I own 3 trucks. I mean, the Suburba tank is true. Your comment on the Young Thug Gunna Rich Rico situation. I haven't read it yet. I don't have a comment because I don't know yet. Rico's always fascinating. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So my comment is I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Excuse me, I literally surfaced from trial, common sense prevailed, and tune in on my drive home and see a chat flooded with #stacks. How does this happen? Because you were summoned? We summoned you. You're welcome. I'm sorry if I scared your animals. We summoned you, Rob. All right, you guys, just a few more moments because we've got to move on to talk about SBF stuff. There are over 1,800 of you that have entered. Go ahead and put #stacks. You can only enter once and we will do the giveaway. So, Emily, why do you say the case against him was falling apart? I didn't say the case against him was falling apart. What did I say? I don't think the case against SBF is falling. Oh, I remember what I said. I did not mean to say the case was falling apart. The situation with SBF was unraveling. So I think the feds had to act and grab him because there was the bankruptcy and everything else, like the house of cards was crumbling. Not the case against him, but the entire situation was devolving quickly. Normally, the feds can investigate a situation, and the situation is not that dynamic. People are continuing to do their little fraudy things, and then they gather their evidence and they go in and grab them. The SBF dynamic situation was the house of cards was crumbling. The Bahamas is looking to forfeit property. The US also probably wants to try to get their hands on forfeiting assets. The bankruptcy court is involved in grabbing assets. So I think the dynamic situation caused a circumstance where the feds could not wait as long as they otherwise would wait. Hopefully that makes sense. So if I didn't make that clear, I hope I've made that more clear. The situation was falling apart, not the case. That's why they moved fast, I think. And my mom said, wait, say this time blindness link again, because this is my daughter and I would love to get her some help for it. Just look at ADHD and time blindness. In my experience, I literally, without a ticker up in the corner, I could not tell you how long I've been sitting here live. I do not know. I have no sense of time passing at all, like in all circumstances. How long does it take you to drive to Target? I don't know. I default to clueless. Everything's about 20 minutes. I don't know. Truly don't, which ends up with me being late a lot of the time because I'm like, oh, I can do this one more thing. It'll take me 3 minutes. An hour later, I'm like, shit, I've missed everything. So if I'm getting ready for a stream and I'm running late, it's because I have thought in my head that I had enough time, but I have no sense of time. So me thinking I have enough time is, I don't know. It's like me trying to play chess and I have no idea how to play chess. So time blindness is something that can go with ADHD. So I would ask a professional about that, because it is something that if you are aware of, you can start doing things to help. Timers, stuff like that. I like the how to ADHD channel here on YouTube. And there are a couple Instagram accounts I follow about ADHD that help me learn more aspects of it. But I think learning more about ADHD helps. And then figuring out what works. Timers are a big one. When I forget to set my timers of like, you're streaming in 15 minutes, then we end up with Emily running late because I'm like, oh, shit. So you can find ways to help. So let's see. Need advice. Have a 12-year-old who games and wants to be on Discord. It freaks me out, but I'm generally leery of online creepers. Mama's thoughts. I am also very leery of online creepers. I wanted to understand Discord more, and my kiddo wasn't on it until he was 13. Is there a big difference between 12 and 13? It depends on your kiddo, and I think you have to work with your kiddo. My kiddo and I will sit down and he will show me things that are going on in his Discord. We will talk about things. My kiddo tends to be very open with me. I know what Discord servers he's in, but I also worry about it. I hope that through my conversation with my kiddo, I can help him understand how to make good choices. And when something doesn't feel right for him, to come to me and talk to me about it and ask for help. I'm trying to help him learn to navigate it alongside me as a parent versus not letting him have it. But at 13, that was the right choice for my oldest. My oldest is a much more mature kiddo. He's going on like 47. He takes his coffee black. He is skeptical of everything and listens to a lot of My Chemical Romance. But my youngest kid is the kiddo who would be like, no, they're saying if I give them this thing, like your credit card number, that they'll give me all these Roblox coins and it'll just be free. Like my youngest, we're going to have a different conversation. He will believe anything somebody says, and that's a very different kiddo. Will I let him open onto different parts of the internet at the same age as my oldest? Probably not. That will need more parental input just because they are very different kids. So let's keep going. Ladbeck was not a member of Atlas Trading. He just helped with the pump and dump some of their scams. And maybe that's why in the indictment it didn't have them listed as part of Atlas Trading. I'm mostly on YouTube these days, then FB, then just Insta. I sound old, not old, but love YouTubers most. Thank you for what you do. Thank you. Rob has a Discord. Runkle plays there too. I have heard Rob can verify in the chat whether it is Rob's Discord or just a Discord made by Rob fans. I don't know. You help my mom understand my ADHD. You and I are so alike. I'm so glad, Harley. I hope it helps. The non-ADHD folks sometimes have a hard time understanding how our brains work, and it's really helpful to explain how our brains work. But when we don't know how our brains work, we can't explain to somebody else. Like, no, I know your experience is different. My husband's like, no, We've been sitting at dinner for like 30 minutes. I'm like, what? How do you know that? He's like, how do you not know that? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like trying to explain to somebody who's really good at directions and somebody who's not really good at directions. It's like trying to make that connection. It's like, but how do you know? They're like, north is that way. How do you not know that? It's, I don't know. How do you explain? Look, I moved from California. I can't find my way around. I used to know where west was all the time. Ocean that way. It was so easy. And then I moved, and my husband's like, look, just because it's down from where you are doesn't mean it's pointing south. In fact, it's not. That's not south. Because I say, like, from our house, you go south. He's like, that's actually not south. And I'm like, but it's down. He's like, you're not north. So, all right, we need to continue on. We're going to do this giveaway. Let's roll it. We've got over 2,000 entries. Let's see who wins. Our last giveaway on YouTube. Next week's our last stream on YouTube. And for the holidays. So we are winding down. Good luck, Lawnards. Oh my God, that is the cutest little photo ever. Rainy Cakes, congratulations. 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 Yay. Go ahead and email us at help@theemilydbaker, and we will go ahead and get this to you. So, let us talk about SBF, because I promised, and we ended up just talking about Twitter bros, and I feel like I'm gonna have to change my thumbnail at some point because people are like, we came for the SBF and we're 2.5 hours in. Where is it? Here, it's here. The SBF. Once I open my notes. So here's a quick rundown with the SBF FTX stuff. Lots of people are covering it online. The aspect I am most interested in, though my interest may vary, is what's going on with the lawsuits against the influencers who were spokespeople for FTX. I don't know how far that will go, except in the context of the SEC. We saw the SEC go after Kim Kardashian for not disclosing how much she was paid from a different crypto coin for promoting them. The SEC is pretty clear that if you are promoting if you are paid to promote a financial currency or a financial token, that you have to disclose how much you are paid in that advertisement. So when it comes to individuals like, Gisele Bundchen or Tom Brady or whoever, and we're going to go through the list of people being sued in that class action, if they determine that FTX is in fact an instrument or a token, and there's still some debate about whether it counts or doesn't count, and whether it's the exchange or whether it's the coin or what, if the SEC believes, and people don't litigate against them, that it is a token, when Tom Brady does an FTX commercial, it's required somewhere in that to disclose exactly how much they were paid for that endorsement. Different than other types of endorsements where you just have to say it's a paid ad. Financial tokens are different and specific. And while the influencer might not be the one necessarily to blame, they're the one who's going to get banged by the SEC. And then if they turn around and sue their lawyer or financial advisor for malpractice for not telling them they needed to include that information, so be it, they might do that. But they have to disclose it. So whether it's their fault that they knew or didn't know that FTX was a giant fraud is a different question for me than whether they were promoting a financial token that's regulated by the SEC that requires them to disclose how much they were paid. $1 million, $10 million, $5 million, whatever it is. Those are the questions I'm really, really interested in. But also, we have this bankruptcy. We have now hearings in Congress about this, and we have crypto regulation that's just being thrown out. My concern always with government regulation is when you see like members of Congress being like, that doggy coin, you mean the Doge coin? Fucking hell. And we saw it in the older like Facebook WhatsApp hearing, when you could see the members of Congress not understanding how the technology worked. And it's very, very hard to see the people who are supposed to make the rules about a thing, but they don't really understand the rules about a thing. And I hope that they will bring in thoughtful experts on all sides of crypto, people who love crypto, hate crypto, whatever, and have a conversation with them before they make these regulations, because they definitely need help. My thoughts. Did you see that Kevin O'Leary revealed that he lost 10 million in this? I didn't see that, but I've also heard tale that he was paid like 15 million to endorse them. So is it a net loss? I don't know. I would like to know how much he was paid to endorse them too. Because Why all ads are not regulated in that way that an influencer has to tell how much they were paid, because there aren't rules requiring it except for financial coins. You have to disclose that it's an ad, but you do not have to disclose how much it was paid. Why that was decided, like the policy behind that, I truly don't know the policy behind it. Maybe it's because they think all the celebrity endorsers would push back and be like, okay, government, why don't you be more clear with who you're getting paid by? Maybe that's why. I don't know. That's pure cynical speculation. So when the new CEO of FTX testified at the House of Representatives on Tuesday, he told them that SBF signed off on $1 billion in loans to himself before resigning as CEO. $1 billion in loans to himself. $1 billion in loans. $1 billion in loans to himself before the collapse of FTX. What's going to be interesting is when we see the timing, and when we see the timing of when SBF knew that the house of cards was falling, and if the money was taken as the house of cards was falling down. $1 billion. Yeah, chat. 1 billion. 1 billion. 1 billion. Say again. I will. Let's go to the article. Let's go to the article about it. Probably the reason why he's in jail without bail. I mean, goat scream. All right. $1 billion. Building a space laser, maybe. Raises pinky to upper lip. $1 billion. We're talking about SBF right now. Let's see. I saw another question I wanted to, or another question/comment. The media keeps going around with the BS that SBF is the most charitable billionaire. It's infuriating. Here's the thing about charity. Charity is incredible. Charity should be done. But when the charity is done with money that is not yours, it's not charity, it's fucking money laundering. I mean, it's not literally money laundering, but you're not being charitable if it's not yours. You're using other people's money as what? Bribery? Charitable how? Are you using charity to make sure everyone's not looking at you? Are you using it as a shield when you are using other people's money? That's my question. What money was he being charitable with? I want to know. And might have been. Two things can be true at once. Might have been tremendously charitable with his own money, not money from investors, might have been. But the investors aren't getting their money right now. So fine, be charitable, but I think charitable has a different meaning for me when you're doing it not to be seen as charitable. You know, is this being used as a shield? Are all the political donations being used so that your industry doesn't get regulated? That's my question. Because that's why you see companies, and all companies do this. I mean, I can't say all, there are lots of companies that do this, that will just donate to both sides of the aisle to get a better deal for themselves. And at some point, companies almost have to do that because they have to play the game. They're like, oh, we're playing basketball? Okay, I guess I have to play basketball. I can't just play baseball while y'all are playing basketball. So if everybody's donating to politicians on both sides of the aisle to get more beneficial regulations for their industry, if I don't do that, am I actually now doing a disservice to my shareholders if I'm a public company? Am I? Do I also have to play that game because everybody else is now playing the game? And for companies that sit out on the game, their goods tend to be higher and they can go under. So do we all think the game is gross? Kind of. Kind of. But that is the game. And understanding the game is a big part of the game. Sorry. I know I'm starting to sound like oh my God, my brain just totally stopped. The author of the game, Neil Strauss. I'm starting to sound like Neil Strauss. You have to understand the game, even if you don't want to play the game. And even if you don't want to play the game, once you're in the game, you might find yourself playing a game you didn't want to play in the first place. Me working on social media. J.I. says, they call themselves lobbyists. Yes, that the companies pay to do the things. All right. Me being cynical. Somebody asked, did SBF lose his stocks? I think so. I think so. It was also asked, can you claim tax relief on charitable donations? Yes, you can. You can. Did we all just lose the game? I mean, I don't think we are rich enough to play this game that they're playing. They're playing a whole different game than we're playing. We're going to be allowed to play like Foursquare. That's it. That's the only game we're allowed. That's it. We can play Foursquare. That's all. Maybe hopscotch. That's all we got. They're playing the rest of the games. New FTX CEO tells reps indicted founder lent himself $1 billion. Why is this headline not everywhere? This is fucking fascinating to me. December 13th, 10:16 p.m. Now indicted. Yeah, what is? I mean, like a day ago. Now indicted FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, fraud, whatever, signed off on at least $1 billion in loans. I know, y'all, it's name calling. It's against my own rules. I'm going to time myself out in a minute. That was me. I'm not doing it. Signed off on at least $1 billion in loans to himself before resigning as CEO of the cryptocurrency exchange, the bankruptcy specialist appointed to clean up the failed company told the U.S. House of Representatives on Tuesday. John J. Ray III, apparently not a country music singer, but John J. Ray III sounds like it could be, was who replaced Bankman-Fried as CEO last month, testified before the House Financial Services Committee for 4 hours. You can find that on YouTube, I think. That was streamed like everywhere on Tuesday, about his attempt to recover money on behalf of FTX customers. And Law & Lumber has been covering this. CoffeeZilla has been covering this, but Rob has been covering the bankruptcy side of it more than anyone else I've seen. Although his team has been able to recover $1 billion in assets so far, Ray said he didn't anticipate that FTX's millions of customers would be made whole. They've recovered $1 billion in assets, but that isn't enough. Wow. Every day we find more assets, we unlock more assets, we find keys that we can then unlock wallets. Talking about crypto. So every day we're more encouraged, but clearly we anticipate massive losses here. Part of the problem, as he has publicly said before, is that there was an utter lack of record keeping at FTX. Oh, like Girardi Keese. Weird. You start to see the things all these things have in common. Welcome, law nerds, to being cynical with me. You start to see the patterns. Utter lack of record keeping at FTX and other entities owned by Bankman-Fried. He owned multiple entities. He's not like some hapless floppy-haired kid who's like, oopsie, this is not an oopsie doodle. Okay, muffin? This is fucking fraud. Including crypto trading firm Alameda Research. Ray said employees would send invoices via Slack and use the accounting software QuickBooks, which is marketed towards small and medium-sized businesses, but is highly unusual for a company the size of FTX. He loaned himself $1 billion. He said it made Enron look like a well-run business. That's terrifying. They were using QuickBooks for $1 billion company. Yep. All the accountants just grasped their pearls. Everybody just went, that's bad. Yep. They used QuickBooks. He is definitely floppy haired. And I think he's trying to use that to his advantage. He's like, y'all like me, right? I'm a good guy. I donated. Invoices were being sent via Slack. And they were using QuickBooks. Nothing against QuickBooks. It's a very nice tool, but not for a multi-billion-dollar company. This should have been One set of financial records Ray and the bankruptcy team apparently have been able to track down is a series of loan payments made to Bankman-Fried and other insiders amounting to over $1.5 billion. Somebody in the chat. Wait. Greatest. I can't. My brain can't parse the words out. It ends with videos. I'm sorry. QuickBooks, the place where you can loan yourself $1 billion. Come use us. Lamau. QuickBooks. QuickBooks, like your average small business. What the fuck? Yes. SBF, don't I get brownie points? I donated, not pledged. The problem is the fraud. Ray detailed some of those transactions in a November 17th court document. Rob's probably already covered this, noting that Bankman-Fried received a $1 billion loan from Alameda Research, while former director of engineering Nisad Singh took out $543 million. $543 million. $1.5 billion fucking dollars. I'm just shook. And the fact that people aren't more shook scares me. Why aren't people more shook by this? As things were collapsing, as everything was falling down, or at least it seems as everything was falling down. Thank you, Miguelina. I know, I need to wrap soon. I appreciate it. I had a hard stop and I talked too much. The story of my life. We're going to keep going, though. During his testimony, Ray clarified that Bankman-Fried received more than just one loan. Rep. Maxine Walters, I always say Walters of California, who chairs the Financial Services Committee, said that Bankman-Fried told the committee staff that he reinvested the money into FTX and he wasn't sure who authorized the loan. What? Alameda loaned me $1 billion and I just put it into FTX. Then why is it going through you? Ray responded that at least in one instance, Bankman-Fried was assigned both as the issuer of the loan as well as the recipient of the loan. We have no information at this time as to what the purpose or use of those funds were, and that is part of our investigation. Just $1 billion. I don't remember Rob covering $1 billion loan. Rob, there's $1 billion loan. We have all the questions. He issued the loan, and then he reported the loan. TriStar used QuickBooks for Britney's records. They sure diddly did, and they didn't seem to enter everything in it. Question, what about this scares MSN from covering the story? I don't know. I don't know why this isn't getting covered much. I truly don't. Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas Monday and publicly indicted on Tuesday. His counsel didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. I imagine. Bankman-Fried's been talking enough. No one else needs to talk. As a well-known public advocate for the cryptocurrency industry, Bankman-Fried spent millions of dollars on U.S. political campaigns and propping up fellow crypto firms like BlockFi, which itself declared bankruptcy in the wake of FTX's spectacular crash last month. He was scheduled to testify before the House, but his arrest put a stop to that. A fact noted by frustrated Waters. A fact noted by frustrated Waters, as well as some of her committee colleagues. Waters said in a statement she was surprised to hear about the arrest, given that Bankman-Fried's attorneys told her staff earlier the same day he still planned to testify. He didn't know he was about to be arrested. I don't think they misled you. I think he thought he wasn't going to get arrested. I think he thought he had gone on the whoopsie doodle tour of Twitter and that they would just come to him and be like, just tell us what happened. And be like, I don't have access to my accounts. The bankruptcy people did it. I don't know what happened. Oops. My bad. You don't get to my bad with billions of dollars of people's money. Although Mr. Bankman-Fried must be held accountable, the American public deserves to hear directly from him. They did on Twitter, though, about the action that have harmed over 1 million people and wiped out hard-earned life savings of so many. They deserve to hear it, but also he deserves to be prosecuted. So I know that Congress wants to hear from him. I'm kind of cool with him just getting arrested, though. And you know, his statement that he would have testified to is public because they do have to be submitted in advance. So we do know what that was. But this is not the end of the road here. Let's see. We've also got a fight going on with the regulators in the Bahamas. So the bankruptcy court and the regulators in the Bahamas are trying to fight over not the liquidators in the Bahamas are trying to fight over assets. And then we have a very interesting letter that The regulators in the Bahamas, and this is coming from the bankruptcy court, the regulators in the Bahamas were told by like the co-founder of FTX that there were issues. So back in November, I need to know when that loan was because now I'm more curious. Back in November, the co-founder and executive director told the Bahamas Regulatory Agency, which is where this was located, that there were problems. So, Commonwealth of the Bahamas, in the matter of Digital Assets and Registered Exchanges Act 2020 as amended, and in the matter of the company's winding up agreement, and in the matter of FTX Digital Marketers Ltd. Affidavit of Christina Roll. Christina Roll, Executive Director of the Securities, Christina Roll, Executive Director of the Securities Commissions of the Bahamas of the Island of the New Province. I make this affidavit on behalf of the commission. The petitioner herein, in my capacity as the executive director of the commission, the facts and matters referred to herein, unless otherwise stated within my own knowledge, are obtained from information and documents in the possession of the commission or its legal advisors, as the case may be, are true to the best of my knowledge. There is now produced and shown to be marked as CR1, a paginated bundle of documents, which I refer to throughout the course of my affidavit. So this is the commissioner, Christina Roll, retelling the court what they were told. This affidavit is made in support of an application by way of summons for directors dating 10th November 2022, seeking, among other things, an order that Mr. Brian Simmons, KC, be appointed as the provisional liquidator of FTX Digital Markets, on the basis that, among other things, the commission considers such action is in the public interest in order to protect the interests of clients and creditors of FTX Digital. I would respectfully request this honorable court to note that this matter is extremely urgent and the investigation of the commission relative in the matters as set below ongoing. Nevertheless, the commission is of the considered view that the intervention of this honorable court is necessary in order to protect the assets of the company and to maintain integrity of the regulatory framework for digital assets within the jurisdiction. They are trying to lock it down. Background: FTX Digital is a company duly incorporated under the laws of the Bahamas and the acts herein. The commission is the regulator of FTX Digital under the DARE Act. Under the DARE Act, FTX is registered as a digital asset business and approved for the following services: exchange between digital assets, exchange between one or more forms of digital assets, transfer of digital assets. The officers of FTX as registered with the commission are Ryan Salmi, Chairman and Director; Sam Bankman-Fried, Director, CEO; Daniel Friedberg, Secretary; Metered Limited, Assistant Secretary. The likely property includes, and then they list all the different kinds of crypto property, stocks, bonds. On November 9th, Bloomberg reported Sam Bankman-Fried told FTX.com investors Wednesday that without a cash injection, the company would need to file for bankruptcy, according to a person with direct knowledge. On a call before Binance pulled an about-face and bailed on its takeover offer, Bankman-Fried informed investors his crypto exchange faced a shortfall of up to $8 billion and needed $4 billion to remain solvent. The person said, asking not to be named, discussing private talks. So this is the commission trying to freeze assets back in November of FTX and trying to hold these things down. So we are facing a big problem. On November 9th, 2022 at 9:27 p.m., SBF sent the following email to Mr. Rind Pinder KC, the Attorney General of the Bahamas, to which I was copied. Hi all. I'm really sorry about the delayed response here. It's been a hectic week, but that's on me, myself, and Joe CC'd. Myself and Joe CC'd will be responsive going forward, and I'm deeply sorry for ending up in this position in the first place. I'll give the answers I can give right now and try to get the others ASAP. Right now, we are focused on one thing: making customers whole. We are focused exclusively on doing that this week. We are ceasing all non-essential operations beyond that. I'm doing everything I can to try to do right by our customers. I have not briefed the Securities Commission. I would be more than happy to have a phone call with you, the PM, and the SCB in the next few days to give you a thorough overview of the situation. I am cautiously optimistic that we will be able to survive the turmoil and have enough liquidity for all customer withdrawals. I need to start doing a timeline of this case, because he is telling the Attorney General of the Bahamas that they hope to be liquid enough for all customers, but it was clear. Let's see. When was the date? On the same day, November 9th, Bloomberg reported, so it was made contemporaneous, that without a cash infusion, they would be insolvent, that they had a shortfall of up to $8 billion. So how do we go from a shortfall of up to $8 billion to telling the government in a letter, hold on, where's our letter? Back up. At 9:27 p.m. on the same day, that you are optimistic you will survive. $8 billion shortfall. How are you telling them you think it's all going to be cool? What? I am cautiously optimistic we will be able to survive the turmoil. You had an $8 billion deficit and have enough liquidity for customer withdrawals. We are investigating a more thorough answer to this question. We did not intend to, but are concerned that poor risk management led to a liquidity issue. Or all the money being in the same fucking place led to a liquidity issue. Maybe. As you saw, Binance did not end up following through on their transaction. However, we are in the middle of a separate process to make users whole. We will know within a week if that comes through. So far, we have strong indications of interest that would be more than enough to cover all liquidity needs. This is all just blah, 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 whatever. We have strong interest. These are nonsense words. We have just interest that we're going to cover all the things. We're working on confirming that we can. I'm cautiously optimistic that we will be able to. We're deeply grateful for what the Bahamas has done for us. We are deeply sorry about this mess. As part of this, we have segregated funds for all Bahamian customers on FTX. Oh, how did you know? And we will be more than happy to open up withdrawals for all Bahamian customers on FTX so they can tomorrow fully withdraw all of their assets, making them fully whole. It's your call whether you want us to do this, but we are more than happy to and would consider it the very least of our duty to the country, and could open it up immediately if you reply saying you want us to. If we don't hear back from you, we are going to go ahead and do it tomorrow. The Commission has grave concerns as a result of the lack of responsiveness on the part of SBF and FTX that the correspondence from the Commission. The Commission regards the lack of responsiveness to be a breach of their obligations. Everyone is going to be fighting over this money. So there was also a teleconference. Y'all, when I say this is a mess, this is absolutely a mess. This was filed in the bankruptcy in the, where I forget exactly which state the bankruptcy is in. Apologies. This is filed with the bankruptcy in Delaware. That's where the bankruptcy is in the U.S. So the Bahamas is trying to liquidate. Delaware is trying to liquidate. He has been indicted and arrested, and the wheels are coming off. But as those wheels are coming off, we also have a whole bunch of influencers who are being sued in a class action lawsuit over FTX. Where is my lawsuit? It's not in here. Where is it? There we go. Sorry, it was in the wrong place. It's like we're prepared. Where is the list of the parties? Okay. So when I talk about that lawsuit, and we haven't gone over it yet, I keep saying we need to do this more in depth. We have to keep going more in depth. We are going to do, I'm going to ask you how much coverage you want of this case, but I'm literally fascinated. Like, it's unwound so fast that I'm kind of stunned. It feels like the Girardi case, where it's like, we're going to keep hearing more. The $1 billion loan isn't even really making the news cycles because so much other shit has happened. And now we've got like Is there going to be more regulations on crypto? How is the SEC involved? What does crypto even count of anyway? Does the SEC regulate this area? It's so much. I'm going to try to do a roundup in the new year of like a more succinct timeline. United States District Court, Southern District of Florida, Miami Division. Class action complaint. I love that they started with a quote from Mark Cuban on November 12th, 2022. Then there's things that have happened with Voyager and with FTX now. There's somebody running a company that's just dumb as fuck greedy. This is a great way to start a lawsuit. I mean, I'm not advising that everybody is down for this, but I'm here for it. Then there's things that have happened with Voyager and with FTX now. That's somebody running a company that's just dumb as fuck greedy. So what does Sam Bankman do? He just give me more. So I'm going to borrow money, loan it to my affiliated company, and hope to pretend to myself that the FTT tokens that are in there on my balance sheet are going to sustain their value. Mark Cuban, footnote 1. And that's from this Yahoo video. Mark Cuban, November 2012, or November 12th, 2012. SBF, November 10th. I'm sorry. That's the biggest thing. I fucked up and should have done better. Defendant Sam Bankman-Fried, former CEO of FTX. This is a great way to start a lawsuit. With the CEO admitting, I fucked up and should have done better. The day after, we just read that he was telling regulators in the Bahamas, I'm cautiously optimistic it's all going to be fine. The next day, he's on Twitter saying, I'm sorry, I fucked up. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Question. So he took $1 billion. We don't know where the $1 billion went. He loaned $1 billion. He's saying they're still investigating where the $1 billion loan went. I don't think they know yet. But technically his assets are now frozen. So hopefully it got swooped in the freezing. They came in hot with this. They did. Do these people really think they won't get caught? Yes. We love a sassy lawsuit. Plaintiff Sunil Kaveri files this class action complaint on behalf of himself and all others similarly situated against Sam Bankman-Fried, Tom Brady, Gisele Bundchen, Stephen Curry, Golden State Warriors, Shaquille O'Neal, Udonis Haslem, David Ortiz, William Trevor Lawrence, Shohei Ohtani, Naomi Osaka, Lawrence, Gene David, and Kevin O'Leary, collectively defendants. I want to see his lawyer's reaction to the tweet. You've seen it. And all parties who either controlled, promoted, assisted in, and actively participated in FTX Trading Ltd, DBA, FTX Trading, and West Realmshires Services, DBA, FTX US, collectively FTS entities. To offer and sale of unregistered securities in the form of yield-bearing accounts to persons and entities residing outside of the United States seeking to recover damages, declaratory and or injunctive release stemming from the offer and sale of FTX Trading and FTX US yield-bearing cryptocurrency accounts, footnote 2. Undersigned counsel represents many hundreds of injured Voyager investors in the related action against Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks, styled Pierce Robinson et al. Versus Mark Cuban, currently pending before the... That's funny. He's suing Mark Cuban in another lawsuit and uses Mark Cuban's statement to start this lawsuit because he's suing him in the Voyager's lawsuit. That's hilarious. Undersigned counsel represents many hundreds injured in Voyager's investors in the related action against Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks. This is like the food lawyers who are like, nope, I do this. This is what I do. currently pending in the federal court in the Southern District of Florida, and have been following these FTX events as they unfold very closely. Moreover, discovery is yet to commence, but plaintiffs' counsel anticipates adding additional responsible parties. This is not a case where plaintiff made a risky investment in stock or cryptocurrency, or that plaintiff lost money speculating on various cryptocurrency projects. Plaintiff's claim arises simply from the purchase of a yield-bearing account, an account which FTX that every customer who signed up for the FTX app received by default, and which, as explained below, was guaranteed to generate returns on his significant holdings in the account. Regardless of whether those assets were held as US dollars, legal tender, or cryptocurrency, and regardless of whether any trades were made with the assets held in the yield-bearing account. In other words, the yield-bearing account was portrayed like a bank account. This is part of the problem. Like a bank account. Something that was, quote, very safe and protected. That is the narrative that defendant pushed in promoting the offer and sale of the yield-bearing accounts, which are unregistered securities. For that, defendants are liable for the losses and the losses of the class. Literally overnight, plaintiff's assets held in the yield-bearing account on the deceptive FTX platform were robbed from him as FTX imploded and former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried filed a Chapter 11 bankruptcy petition in Delaware on an emergency basis. This happened because, as the new CEO explained, failed FTX entities. I have over 40 years of legal restructuring experience. I have been the chief restructuring officer or chief executive officer in several of the largest corporate failures in history. I have supervised situations involving allegations of criminal activity and malfeasance, Enron. I have supervised situations that involve novel financial structures, Enron and residential capital, and cross-border asset recovery and maximization, Nortel and overseas shipping. I want to enter in overseas shipholding. I want to know everything about this career. How do you get into this career? How are you the fixer when companies explode in this kind of way? That you're the one that comes in and has to figure it all out. Like, the curiosity must be at a 10 of like, I want to figure out all the tea. The amount of tea this individual knows about all of this shit. I am so fascinated. One day, hopefully, we will get to have more of a conversation with the new CEO who's taken over because of the bankruptcy. Nearly every situation in which I have been involved has been characterized by defects of some sort of internal controls, regulatory compliance, human resources, and systems integrity. Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here. From compromised systems integrity and faulty regulatory oversight abroad to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals. This situation is unprecedented. Boom. This should not have happened, nor should plaintiff, not to thousands of other FTX customers who find themselves in the same predicament. This is essentially a bank crash. People thought they were putting their money into a savings account, not an investment account, a savings account. Not a trading account, a savings account. They thought they were putting their money in a savings account. And we're told this is safe. It's a savings account, but it's got a better yield than like your other savings account at like Chase or whatever. It's got a better yield on it. So put your money here. It's safe, just like a savings account. But what happened is then they took all the money that was everywhere and put it everywhere. Not safe. Like Girardi Keys. The cryptocurrency national disaster is growing by the billions. It's like the cryptocurrency Titanic. More crypto companies are filing new federal bankruptcy petitions every day, all running for protection from the billions of dollars of losses they directly cause to thousands of investors here in Florida and across the globe. This is by far the largest securities national disaster, greatly surpassing the Madoff Ponzi scheme, and could very likely be a complex international litigation disaster, similar to how hundreds of thousands of asbestos cases swamped all the courts across the globe. Unless a workable, coordinated, organized structure is established now, the very onset of these proceedings here in Miami, which has served as the epicenter for the crypto fraud, the FTX victims will continue to suffer, and the only people who will benefit will be the professionals in the bankruptcy and civil courts. The lawyers. Yeah. That's what we're seeing. I mean, it's what we see too often. What I really want to get to is naming of all the parties and the factual background. Factual background: on December 24th, 2021, counsel for plaintiff and the proposed class action members brought the first and only putative nationwide class action against the now defunct cryptocurrency trading app Voyager. And they've got the names of the cases. In that case, plaintiffs also alleged defendant Ehrlich's Voyager CEO teamed up with defendants Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks to promote Voyager by making false representations and employing other means of deception. As a result, the Voyager plaintiffs and Voyager class has sustained losses in excess of $5 billion. The allegations in that complaint, and specifically Mark Cuban's role in promoting Voyager, received national attention. See our national attention. This is a resume at this point. Summarizing the allegations and explaining why Mark Cuban, owner of the NBA's Dallas Mavericks, is a major stakeholder in Voyager. The complaint alleges that he made comments at a press conference in which he specifically targeted unsophisticated investors with false and misleading promises of reaping large profits in the cryptocurrency market. Did they just want to bring these up again? This lawyer is the same lawyer on both. This lawyer's like, hey, I know we're here to talk about SBF, but also,
Also, did you know I'm suing Mark Cuban too? For $5 billion. I am the enemy of the crypto bro, and I am bringing all of the lawsuits. Do you want to see the press on the lawsuits? Don't worry. I hyperlinked them so you can just read the articles about my lawsuits against Mark Cuban. Did I mention Mark Cuban? How many times do I need to mention Mark Cuban? We're 5 pages in. Mark Cuban, Mark Cuban, Mark Cuban. Yeah. Note it down.
This isn't even about this lawsuit at this moment. This lawyer's like, CEG my other work. Here's some links to articles talking about my other work. After that complaint was filed, the following important actions took place. Okay, there's a reason. The United States SEC began an enforcement review focused on whether Voyager's Earn program constituted unregistered securities, which is interesting. Did those accounts, because this is going to be a fight, did those accounts count as securities or are they not? Who regulates this? How do they regulate this? It's still a question, and it's going to matter very much. 7 state attorneys took specific action, finding that Voyager was violating their state laws, including issuing cease and desist letters to Voyager, finding that the EPA was an unregistered security, prohibiting the crypto asset broker dealer from selling any more securities. So they're finding the exchange is a security, which is is a bank account a stock is kind of the question here. Are these types of exchanges securities is a huge question in all of this, because some of the laws they're being accused of violating apply to securities. And if it's not a security, then it's not against the law in this way. That's why there's so many counts against Sam Bankman-Fried that are different. On March 29th, the state of New Jersey Bureau of Securities entered a cease and desist against Voyager, finding that the EPA was not exempt from registration under the law. Instead, it must be registered. As a result, Voyager's stock price tanked 25% in a day and was down over 80% for the year. Footnote 8. Article about the thing. On July 5th, Voyager Digital Holdings and 2 affiliated debtors filed voluntary petitions for relief. Voyager's bankruptcy cases are jointly administered in the Southern District of New York Bankruptcy Court. This is more about Voyager. As explained below, FTX entities imploded. Their over $30 billion in value evaporated overnight. The FTX entities found themselves filing their own emergency Chapter 11 petition in Delaware. The deceptive FTX platform maintained by the FTX entities was truly a house of cards, a Ponzi scheme where FTX entities shuffled customer funds between their opaque affiliated entities. This was not a glitch. Let's see. Importantly, though, defendants disclosed their partnership with FTX. They never disclosed the nature, scope, and amount of compensation. Hey, I said that. They personally received in exchange for the promotion of the deceptive FTX platform, which the SEC has explained that a failure to disclose this information would be a violation of the anti-touting provisions of federal securities law, footnote 9, article. Moreover, none of these defendants performed any due diligence before marketing the FTX products to the public. Well, you don't really know that. That's speculation. The SEC took action against boxing champ Floyd Mayweather, music producer DJ Khaled. Hey, where's Kim Kardashian? Oh, wait, down here. Okay, keep reading, Emily. The SEC took, this is just a name drop in a document. The SEC took action against Floyd Mayweather and DJ Khaled, owner of the coolest toilet ever, after they were paid by cryptocurrency issuers to tweet promotional statements about investing in initial coin offerings, ordering them both to pay disgorgement penalties and interest for promoting the coins, including one from cryptocurrency and issuer Centratech for a combined total of $767,000 because they failed to disclose their promotional efforts, were paid endorsements, 10 article about same. Other celebrities similarly accused and prosecuted for failing to disclose their paid endorsements include Kim Kardashian and basketball player Paul Pierce. According to the FTC, cryptocurrency scams have increased more than tenfold year over year, with customers losing more than $80 million since October 2020, due in large part to the use of such celebrity endorsements. Footnote 12. As they didn't talk about how much Kardashian paid. Kardashian paid over $1 million. As explained more fully below, defendants' misrepresentations and omissions made the broadcast around the globe through the television and internet render them liable to the plaintiff and class members. This action seeks to hold defendants responsible for the billions of dollars in damages they caused. The parties, the plaintiff, is the class plaintiff. Defendant Tom Brady, NFL quarterback currently playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is a brand ambassador for FTX. Gisele Bündchen, one of the highest paid models and a brand ambassador. Kevin O'Leary, quote unquote, Mr. Wonderful, a businessman, television personality appearing on Shark Tank, brand ambassador for FTX. Udonis Haslem, an American professional basketball player for the Miami Heat, brand ambassador, resident in Dade County. David Ortiz, former designated hitter and first baseman in the MLB, brand ambassador, lives in Florida. Defendant Sam Bankman-Fried, former CEO of FTX and former billionaire, is a resident of the Bahamas. He is now a resident of a detention facility. Defendant Stephen Curry, basketball player for the Golden State Warriors in the NBA and a brand ambassador. Defendant Golden State Warriors officially launched their partnership in 2022, unveiling the FTX logo on the court at this Chase Center, and is a corporation existing within the laws of California. Defendant Shaquille O'Neal is a professional NBA star, sports analyst, entrepreneur, FTX brand ambassador. William Trevor Lawrence, quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, brand ambassador for FTX. Defendant Shohei Ohtani, baseball pitcher, designated hitter, and outfielder for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, which is not Los Angeles, but okay. Naomi Osaka, professional tennis player and brand ambassador, resident of Beverly Hills. Lawrence Gene David, comedian. Oh, Larry David. I was like, Lawrence. Larry David, comedian, writer, actor, television producer, brand ambassador. So this is a civil complaint. I'm going to zoom real quick and see what the causes of action are. And then oh no, there's pictures, and then I have to go. I am now late. Following his resignation, Bankman-Fried issued a 22 tweet long explanation of where he believed he and the FTX entities went wrong. Holy shit. Holy shit. 1, I am sorry. That's the biggest thing. I fucked up and should have done better. 2, I've also been communicating more very recently. Transparently, my hands were tied during the duration of the possible Binance deal. I wasn't particularly allowed to say much publicly, but of course it's on me that we ended up there in the first place. I'm sure the prosecutors love these tweets. 3, so here's an update on where things are. This is all about FTX International, the non-US exchange, the non-US exchange. FTX US users are fine. I think that was probably not accurate. Treat all of these numbers as rough. There are approximations here. 4, FTX International currently has a total market value assets collateral higher than the client deposits, moves with prices. But that's different from liquidity for delivery. As you can tell from the state of withdrawals, the liquidity varies wildly from very to very little. 5, the full story here is one I'm still fleshing out every detail of. This is not a hard story. You had a bunch of money and you put it in one pot And then there wasn't enough money to take it out because you invested at places, you spent at places. And so all the money that went in couldn't come back out because it got spent. The first time a poor international labeling of bank-related accounts meant that I was substantially off on my sense of user's margin. I thought it was way lower. My sense before: leverage 0x, USD liquidity ready to deliver 24x average daily withdrawals. Actual leverage 1.7x, liquidity 0.08x Sunday's withdrawals. So he thought they had 24 times the average withdrawals, and they did not. Because of course, when it rains, it pours. We saw roughly a 5 billion withdrawals on Sunday, the largest by a huge margin, because it was failing. People were trying to bail water. And so I was off twice, which tells me a lot of things, both specifically and generally, that I was shit at. And the third time, I'm not communicating enough. I should have said more. I'm sorry. I was slammed with things to do, and I didn't give updates to you all. 8. And so we are where we are, which sucks, and that's on me. I'm sorry. Billions of dollars lost. Billions of dollars lost. Billions of dollars lost. And the tweet is, which sucks, that's on me. I'm sorry. 9. Anyway, right now, my number one priority by far is doing right by users, and I'm going to do everything. Well, the bankruptcy court's going to take care of that now, Muffin. The bankruptcy court's going to try to do right by everybody that lost money. And what we're learning is there's not enough money. So right now we're spending the week doing everything we can to raise liquidity. I can't make any promises about that, but I'm going to try and give anything I have to, if that will make it work. You are complaining to Congress that you've lost your money. Stop it. There are a number of players we are in talks with. This is after everything. This is too late. At the end of the day, I was CEO, which means I was responsible for making sure things went well. I ultimately should have been on top of everything. I clearly failed in that. I'm sorry. That's going to go on a big old poster board in your prosecution, I'm sure. So what does this mean going forward? I'm not sure. That depends on what happens over the next week. Newsflash, in December, you get arrested. First, one way or another, Alameda Research is winding down trading. They aren't doing any of the weird things that I see on Twitter, and nothing large at all. And one way or another, soon they won't be trading on FTX anymore. I mean, they were trading on FTX. On and on and on this tweet thread. I just want to get you guys to the allegations so then I can say goodbye, because I am now very late. This is also, these complaints are so detailed. but also Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen. Who they are. Mr. Brady and Ms. Bundchen also joined the company's $20 million ad campaign in 2021 and filmed a commercial called FTX You In, showing them telling acquaintances to join the FTX platform. The ad can be viewed here on YouTube. Kevin O'Leary. Wait, did he go to MIT? He did go to MIT. I spy a beaver ring. I forgot that he had gone to MIT. I think I knew that. The beaver ring gives it away. Hello, MIT. Kevin O'Leary. Mr. Wonderful. To find crypto investment opportunities that meet my own rigorous standards of compliance, I entered into this relationship with that FTC official, Mr. O'Leary said on Twitter last year. Mr. O'Leary recently deleted the tweet. He also served as a judge for the FTX charity hackathon in Miami in March 2022. And very recently, on October 12th, 2022, O'Leary stated confidently that FTX was totally compliant and a safe place to hold assets less than a month before the ship went down. O'Leary stated, I have to disclose I'm a paid spokesperson to FTX and a shareholder too. And a shareholder there too. Because we mentioned him, and I'm a big advocate for Sam because he has two parents who are compliance lawyers. I'm sure we'll see more about that soon. If there's ever a place I could be that I'm not gonna get in trouble, it's gonna be with FT. This is aging like milk. I'm starting back from the beginning. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again. This is October 12th. O'Leary stated confidently about FTX. I have to disclose I'm a paid spokesperson. You're supposed to disclose how much in the ad, but that's separate. because we mention him, and I'm a big advocate for Sam because he has two parents who are compliance lawyers. If there's ever a place I could be that I'm not going to get in trouble, it's going to be with FTX. So you know that they're great people, but he gets the job in compliance, which is why he's working so hard to get regulation. Footnote 29, FTX Charity Hackathon, YouTube beginning at 1732. Yeah, his parents are compliance lawyers. What age is faster and worse than milk? We're way past levels of milk. Yeah, they're an avocado. It was ripe for 7 seconds and then it got angry. Stanford lawyers, his parents are. I've heard a thing or two about that. So now they're going endorser by endorser, talking about how they endorsed, what they endorsed, why they endorsed. FTX hashtag not an expert. Crypto, you'll be anything but bored. Not an expert. I don't know if that's unfair. I don't know. I don't know if that's unfair. Not an expert campaign. I'm not an expert and I don't need to be. With FTX, I have everything I need to buy, sell, and trade crypto safely. FTX and the Golden State Warriors. Shaquille O'Neal with a link to it. Trevor Lawrence. Shoni Atani. I hope I pronounced that properly. FTX. Don't be like Larry. For his part, the legendary comedian and creator of Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm created an ad for the FTX entities called Don't Miss Out on Crypto, which aired during the 2022 Super Bowl, making FTX one of the most retweeted brands during the Super Bowl and winning most comical honorific from USA Today's ad meter. Footnote 44, the ad, the only Super Bowl commercial David ever appeared in, featured David being a skeptic on such historically important inventions as the wheel. I remember this. As the wheel, the fork, the toilet, democracy, the light bulb, the dishwasher, the Sony Walkman, and of course, FTX. Caution viewers, don't be like Larry. The ad can be viewed here. I remember that. It was like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I absolutely remember that. Thank you, chat Shohei. I appreciate it. Again, dyslexic. Class action allegations, and then they're defining the class. We're going to have to go look at some of those ads, or at least I'll link them. Count 1, violations of the Florida Statute Securities Act. Count 2, violations of the Florida Deceptive Unfair Trade Practices Act. Count 3, civil conspiracy. Civil conspiracy with some of them might be hard because I think some of them didn't know. And you're going to have to prove knowledge. But with the violations of some of the unfair trade acts, it's like the act says you have to do this, you didn't do this. Those are a lot harder with those kind of stricter liabilities. You don't need the same mens rea as you do with like the civil conspiracy. They're saying the defendants made numerous misrepresentations and omissions. I think it's going to be hard to prove some of them knew those were misrepresentations. Declaratory judgment on behalf of everybody, and relief. Certifying the class, awarding actual direct and compensatory damages. I don't know if there's going to be any money left. Awarding restitution and disgorgement of revenues if warranted. That might be where they get the money. The disgorgement from the influencers and the celebrities, not from FTX, the company. Awarding declaratory relief as permitted by law, injunctive relief, etc. There is so much more here. I'm going to start doing a timeline because this is... The crypto space is not something I have covered a lot because I really stick to the pop culture, but this is going to cross all the lines of everything because we have so many influencers wrapped up in it. And then we also have the finsfluencers, the financial influencers, also wrapped up in all of this. And that is fascinating to me. I hope it's fascinating to you. I am so sorry that I have to scoot. I am late and I have to scoot. K-Rab said there is a new goal of 200K subs for Kraken the Box. I think that's amazing. Go subscribe. I will link the link down below again, and we will get to it. To those of you who super chat I missed, I'm sorry. I think you're supposed to put a pinky to the corner. $1 billion. $1 billion. $1 billion. So off topic, when you see the Paris Hilton tumblers on Amazon, I need to go look. I haven't seen them. So thank you all for your super chats. I'm sorry if I didn't get to it. Did you think that either of SBF's parents have legit legal criminal liability? I don't know enough. Do you think the SDNY would leverage his parents? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know enough about what they knew, what they did. I just don't know enough. Is it something that they have to be looking at? Yes. Is it something they have to be concerned about? Yes. So with that, guys, I am sorry. Rob is saying this is a divide and conquer case. Yeah, I'm going to go to Rob for the bankruptcy side of the case and bring in the bankruptcy stuff that comes out. I want to be covering kind of the influencer public facing, like where is the responsibility in the fire fest of it all? Where are the regulations for the influencers, and what do these coins count as? Is this regulated by the SEC? Does this violate these rules? We are in the time of Wild West changes in the crypto space and regulatory changes, and I think that's going to be very interesting to cover. And also keep in mind, when there's change like this and so many people lose money, will we get overreaching? Is the SEC overreaching? I'm not saying they are or aren't, but are we broadening the definition of what's an exchange? Is that good or bad? I don't know. But there's a lot of questions and there's a lot going on. And I am loading my iPad for my vacation with all of this so I can put together a timeline between the crypto couple and the Twitter bros and the SBF, FTX, WTF of it all. I'm fascinated. I hope you're fascinated. It's wild. So many people have lost so much money. I feel like we've talked about defamation and fraud. That's all we've talked about this year. Britney Spears, defamation and fraud the entire year. And it's wild. So, I know on some of the true crime podcasts, when you get to like, stay sexy, don't get murdered, we're going to have to come up with a may the odds be ever in your favor, and don't get defrauded. Don't let people take your shit, because this is just wild. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being Law Nerds. Do the YouTubey things. I will see you soon. We have one more stream before the end of 2022. So I will see you on Tuesday. We will be doing a giveaway on Insta, and I will be popping in with Emily's Show podcast while I am traveling and away. But one more live stream for the year, y'all. One more live stream. I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to see you. So I will see you soon. I need to roll the outro. Oh, one more till we get our new outros. If Emily gets them done on time, will it happen? I don't know. We'll find out in the new year. Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. If you guys want to join the text, just text Emily.com. If you want to join the channel, lawnerdsunite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube.